is would you say it was Mandalorian for?
Yeah, for Shadow. It's
Oh,
it's so it, I actually got it from um that Star Wars nerd. I read a bunch of the books that were the Republic Commando series is what it was. So it's all
oh,
kind
okay.
of like the beginning of the Clone Wars and all of that. And these are the elite clones that are, the super commandos that they made a game about it, but
No shit.
it's so they actually trained with the Mandalorians. They learned Mandalorian lore, all this other. So the original, like, well, they were called the Null Arcs, is what they were called, but effectively, like, they were the elite level, Navy SEALs, whatever, of the clones.
Yeah.
But the first batch weren't bred for like perfect um oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Obedience or whatever. Like
Oh,
they were way more wild, had their own ideas, all that, like super rogue. So the cloners were gonna kill them. This Mandalorian guy comes in, kind of saves them, brings them in their own, and he gives them all their individual names instead because the cloners only called them by their numbers.
oh, right.
So reading this whole series, now I'm invested in all these guys. I actually have a tattoo and Mandalorian runes across my chest. Like
Oh
I'm
shit.
very much into the Mandalorian lore. That's when the show came out, I was a little frustrated because it was like same thing with the superhero. You're like, but that didn't happen in the comics. It's
Yeah,
all the
dude.
same thing.
It's
Like it's one of those. I he was the stealth guy. Like he was actually the reason the Clone War or the war with the droids, rather drones, kind of ended was because he's one that went in, changed. All he did was change programming so that the alloy was a little different, and they would just fall apart if exposed to enough heat.
hmm.
And like that's the guy. He's the stealth guy that just goes in. Nobody knows what he's doing. He doesn't report anything. He just goes and does a thing, and then a couple months later, you figured out what he did. Whatever. Like I like that. I've always been into the Mandalorian thing anyway, so I had to pick one, and I just had to go with that, which made me paint. In fact, I'll grab it. Made me paint the dye.
Hell yeah.
So my favorite color is red. I'm kind of colorblind, so the only thing I can really see is red. So
Nice. Okay.
red on the right side, but then to turn the other way, being black is count that I'm I'm not into astrology, but I'm a Libra. I have this thing with balance, so
Oh, for sure.
disappear to
100%.
one side, but you see me on that. It's like
Yeah, dude. Now, what's the 31? Where'd you get that from? Is that your favorite
Reggie
number?
Miller.
Huh?
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller?
Yeah, 100%. It was
Nice.
my favorite player growing up. Watching him battle with Spike Lee and Michael Jordan and all that. Like I just and being from Indiana, Pacers, whatever, basketball state, more or less.
Oh, right. No
So
shit,
that's
right?
that's all I really
Hoosiers,
cared
man.
about was the
Mm-hmm.
and back then the Pacers were. I mean, they weren't a big deal, but they Reggie gave Jordan hell sometimes and Pippen, whatever. So it was worth
Right.
watching. And like inherently, I'm a contrarian. Like, oh, MJ's the guy. Well, I'm gonna root for the guy that can beat him. Or why I liked Isaiah Thomas more. Sorry, they manhandled the Bulls, and it was funny to go back and watch all of that. Once I understood, and
Uh-huh.
got older and understood like the dynamic between them as people, not just a basketball game, makes it so much better to watch it.
Yeah. I'm same way. There's that personality type. One of the, that's one trait for sure that we have in common is we kind of we don't like things that are popular, right? If
Nope.
it's so if there's a really good player, and of course it depends, but if there's a really good player on a team that's, that everyone starts to, fanboy about, then I'm like, I used to like it or him or her or whatever it is, but nah, I don't, I'm done. And it's the same thing with anything, whether it's a movie, a product, a phone, I don't care, whatever it is. If there's so many people fanboying about it, like that I'm just like, bro, you're gonna make me vomit, okay? I won't even want to use it. I don't want it to just go away.
I get it. I try I tried an iPhone. I think it was like the 3 or 4
Yeah,
a week. Fuck this phone. These are
no,
terrible.
fucking horrible, bro.
And ever since, just because everyone has an iPhone, I will never give up on Android.
I'm the same way. There is so that kind of disdain that I had for Apple stuff came from the mid '90s when me and my buddies we were building our own computers to game with. So we're building our I mean from scratch, okay,
I
from the
know where
ground
this
up.
is going.
Yeah, and we had to put our own software in it, okay, not our own handwritten software, but you know the we have to load Windows on it. It doesn't come with anything. So we got to put BIOS on it. We got to put, so you make an F disk, you know what I'm saying? Like all this shit. So all of the things that we were putting on to make it better for gaming, when, if you, I think it was late 90s, early 2000s, you know, the QuickTime. I don't know if you know what QuickTime is.
Hmm.
It's an Apple product. So the original videos you could share through email that were very, very small, little GIFs or GIFs or whatever the
Oh
fuck
man,
kind of type of thing, they would run on QuickTime before all this new web stuff came out.
and that
And
was even before Java was really like the
that was before
main.
Java, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
So QuickTime, bro, we were all fucking pissed because it would take over your shit. And it wasn't just, it had a bunch of other like, it's just this fucking spider web of code
yeah,
that would just go through. And then when it was a pain in the ass. You couldn't turn it off. It would automatically do shit. It would automatically interfere with our game stuff. And I'm like, bro, so guys that, especially in the mid 90s that built their own computers for gaming, they hated Apple products. And that carried over into the iPhone when it came out because it's such a proprietary kind of
yep.
software.
It
It's not open source. You can't do shit with it. Uh,
exactly
yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And I mean, for more or less the same reasons, specifically with the phones, but even with the PCs, like, yeah, PC versus Mac. I can make a PC that runs better than a Mac, but when you look at the software and all that, because there's really no way to get in or out of it as easily anyway as there is with Windows, Linux, whatever you want to run,
Right.
it serves to do better, but then they just inherently take over everything. Like
Uh-huh.
the QuickTime thing. I I mean there were several programs like that, but Apple has always been the worst. Like one little
Always, bro.
in and it's legal malware. Get
It
out of
really
here.
is. It really is. Like I want to purposely take over all your shit and make it very difficult for you to shut it off. Because the difference at the time was Windows Media Player, maybe, and to watch some kind of little clip or something. And when you installed it, it gave you the option, the little check marks to uh, not have it start up at run, that
Yeah,
those kind of
yeah.
things. Um, you could choose all. Yeah, it gave you more options to turn it off. Yeah, so that carried over, and I've been like that since then. Okay, about Apple stuff. Well, then when iPhones started getting popular, my kids, as my kids started getting older, they wanted to, get an iPhone or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Let me see what it is. I don't want one, but if you want one, you think, but you're not hooking it up. I remember my kids wanted to hook their iPhone up to my computer. No, it wasn't even the iPhone. It was before that. It was the iPod
Oh, the
for
iPod
music.
Touch.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
for music and shit. And you had to have an Apple, what is it? Music,
yeah.
I don't know what the
iTunes,
fuck.
what? Yeah.
iTunes account. I tried to do it. I try because I was trying to cater to my kids and help
Oh
them, and
no.
I put it on my computer. I'm like, fuck. I knew this shit was gonna happen. I should have not done. I
Yep.
erased it. I was like, nope, never again. Get your own computer, and then you could hook it up to that.
I had one for a little bit, and that's so a friend of mine had already had several different iterations of the iPod, and then the Touch comes out, so I get that. Cool. It's a good way for me to get into the social because at that time well, I mean, to be fair, even still, I don't really give a shit about Facebook, but
Yeah.
like that's when it was kind of blowing up for my age group or whatever at the time. So I'm kind of learning like the apps thing and all of that because I mean at this point there's really no such thing as anything but a PC to me. Like the idea
Yeah.
of a smartphone is not even and I like the little you can play your little games and even then like the graphics got a little bit better on phones like the Razer up from there, but
Yeah.
it was never really like what the iPod Touch was when it came out. So like
Yeah.
all right, cool, we'll check it out. Okay, well all the music you have isn't gonna work because you can only upload from this program. But if you use this program, you have to pay for everything. You can't use all the stuff that you've already saved, all the hours and hours of CDs that I uploaded to my computer to be able to have them in digital form, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So of course, the first thing I did was figure out a way to get around that. And then once
Yep.
I figured out how to use my stuff in iTunes and upload it, and then of course, the spider web starts and it's well you have iTunes, well why not use this? And then also use this and make streamline this by doing this. And I see what's happening here. I'm like, nah, I'm done. I sold the iPod Touch like 7 or 8 months later. And
Oh
then I
yeah.
made the mistake later on of the iPhone and realized it was going to be the exact same thing. I'm like, nah, I'm out early. I will
Yeah.
not have any part of this.
It's
I mean,
funny, man.
at the
Yeah.
same time, I had a phone that I had the operating system split running Android and Linux at the same time.
Yep.
Why would I want a phone that once you're in, it's like Scientology. You're screwed. Like
Yep. That's it.
you can't get out.
You know. Yeah. Right.
You want to take
Scientology.
anything with you, it's going to cost you everything. You're going to lose most of all your data or music, pictures, whatever.
Oh yeah. And
Not
they can
worth it.
change it anytime. They don't give a fuck. Like they'll just change it. Oh yeah, you have an iTunes library that you bought, all these songs for $1.29. Oh, we'll just change something, whatever. You can't access this one now. You can't do this one now. Because you're not buying the song. You don't really own that song.
No, you're
So
renting it more or less.
yeah,
You're paying for a
right.
right, but I mean, they could just as simply go, okay, well, you got a new phone. Well, take your uh, SDIN, check that. Oh, well, it doesn't. It like they'll run it like a VIN number where, but you bought it for this phone, and since you basically have a different VIN number now, that means you got to buy it again because you can't use the same music between two different phones. I'm like, hold on. Well,
It's funny, man.
and that and the planned obsolescence that is the iPhone of like they intentionally know and set up that the software is going to crap out after 3 or 4 years, so it forces you to buy another phone.
Yeah.
I'm not buying into that. Sorry, that's not me.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I like more options. I like the fact, like you said, if I choose to do something like open source on this computer, on my PC, I can, on my phone, whatever. And most hackers started on, they use Windows to yeah, and Linux, I guess. It's that was a big thing when we were building our computers was Linux. Almost everybody I knew had Linux on their PC as well. So
Especially for gaming PCs, it just
yeah,
made everything a lot easier. I don't know if it was just because it was less support than what Microsoft or Windows, whatever, it had at the
yeah,
time. So there was, I guess, like an ignorance bubble sort of thing where like nobody really knew what they were doing with Linux,
yeah.
so they didn't really try to hack it, type of thing.
Maybe.
I don't know, but it seemed
Well,
like
I think
everything
Windows
ran
was just
better.
buggy, man, buggy as fuck. And listen, by the way, you and anyone that listens to this, I am not saying that Windows is better than a Mac as far as how it runs the software. The software for Apple stuff is really solid. It does not crash. You don't get the
I,
fucking blue screen of death. You don't get the okay.
you have way less on the security breaches. I get it.
Yeah,
I completely
right,
understand.
right. It's solid as
However,
fuck. But
you also can't do
it's
what
like
the
being in
fuck
a
you want,
prison.
and that's
You
a
can be safe
problem.
as hell inside a prison cell, right?
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna get you. Weather ain't gonna affect you. You're good. But now, what can you do? Well, we will
Exactly.
provide you a checkerboard. You can play checkers all day. Well, is that it? No, you can do. Okay, now we will give you You have to ask permission. Whereas, the PC and Android, we can just, bro, it's fucking open world game.
I'll just
It's not.
do it. I don't care.
I love it. I love it. I love the choices and the options. Well, so go over. So you're on the HSA. So Hit Squad. You
Yes,
got a nice
sir.
hat there.
Oh yeah.
Hit Squad Airsoft with you play with Houdini, who I've talked to,
Yep.
um, and then and Pumbaa. Well, no, Pumbaa was
So
he was
he's
on Nash
Praetorians.
Praetorians. That's it.
Yeah. But he
You
racks with
know
us.
him.
I mean, we were in a van for 16 hours at Tampa together. So,
Oh shit.
or well, technically more than that, going down there and driving back. But yeah, I mean, Puma's my guy. I love that
Oh
dude.
yeah,
I don't care
he's
if
a
he's
good
on a
dude.
different team or not.
Right.
If he wants to ride, he's riding. I don't care.
Hell yeah. So now, how did you? Well, go into how you got into airsoft, and then how did you get onto Hit Squad?
So airsoft was a long time ago. I actually just because Airsoft Samurai's collection made me a little jealous. Not
That
gonna
dude,
lie.
did you see
That
when he
that
started
MP
carrying the camera around?
that MP5K that with the top loader mag,
Yes.
I remember those. That was so long ago that I remember seeing those like at like Academy or Dick's or something like that.
No shit. Yeah.
So I found my first one,
Fuck yeah.
which
Nice.
which plays hilariously because I don't know who made this to be honest, but it's SEMA actually. Now that I think
Okay.
about it, but it's I mean that's basically a Glock, and now they're AAPs, but Glocks more or less. That's how they
Yeah.
run. But that was the very first air, just trash little Springer, no hop or anything like that.
Yeah.
Sounds so bad. Like playing competition levels now, it's like, how did I even play with this at all?
Oh yeah.
But I got that when I was, I don't know, 12 or 13 for Christmas one year. I got this and a H&K G36C, and I wore that thing the hell. That was when like AGs were just all trash plastic gears and
Oh shit.
all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So I've been playing off and on more or less for I guess 20 years now.
Damn, bro. Okay.
It can't always tell, but I am in my 30s. Houdini and I
Yeah.
are the same age. That's why I'm
Okay.
sick of him saying he's old, because don't you put that evil on me.
Bro, for real. You're only as old as you act, okay? Like, don't act old and you won't be old. How about that?
Exactly. And I'm childish as hell, so I'm
You
willing
know,
to ride that out as long as I can.
people that I work with, I'm 52, so guys that I work with, well, especially when I was in factory work before I got sick, it was like these guys, they're 2 years younger than me, and they're walking around like leaning over, like holding their back, and like, oh, I'm so old, and I'm like, what? You're not. Stop acting like that. Stand up straight. Fucking have some drink an energy drink, bro. Like, fuck, man. You keep talking
Uh,
like you're.
it makes me feel bad at times where like this 19, 20 year old is like, which don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna tell you from working in factories and stuff. I get it. Walking
Yeah,
on
wears you
concrete
out.
for
It
eight
wears
hours
you
a
out.
day, 40 hours plus a week,
Right.
it will beat the hell out of your back and
Mm-hmm.
your knees and ankles and all of that
Sure.
because like you said earlier, there is no forgiveness in that concrete.
Oh, hell no.
So all the little like even in the fork trucks, all the
Oh,
bumps and the
dude.
bouncing and all of that, like
There's no
it's
shocks on those
brutal. I
bitches.
get it.
Yeah. Right.
But come on, bro. Like I do that 40 plus hours a week and also play Snake in airsoft. Like my knees. I'm not saying that my knees aren't in their 70s already, but like just you. Come on, man, you're killing me. I get your point, and it might be your first job or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
you're just
I
you're
was
you're
talking.
sitting.
I was talking with somebody recently, and they said, "Oh man, I'm too old to just be out there doing this and that, whatever." And they said they were like in their 20s, in their late 20s, And I said, I just laughed, but I was like, oh my God. Wait till you're 50,
Man,
bro. Wait till you're
exactly.
45. You think your body he feels it now. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like, I I kind of got into the airsoft back then, and it leading up into now is been a wild trajectory. Because when I first started playing, like the best gun you could get was the all metal SEMA AK, and that was
Oh shit,
pretty much all
nice.
there was. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't really the licensing hadn't come in, so random
Mm.
people were putting out trash little replica Glocks and so, or
Yeah.
actually that might be a 226. I don't know, but yeah, all kinds of different stuff. But you basically had Springers, AGs with all plastic inside, so they fall apart in no time. You only had
Hmm.
I'd never even heard of anyone using lipos at that point. It was the 9.6 nickel metal. That's it. Like not much to it. That G36 that I had maybe had a 15 rounds per second, and I have a Polar Star now that does like 55. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
been crazy, but I did the backyard plinking and just playing with my stepbrother and that kind
Right.
of thing, and then play with some friends. There's a local, well, not really local. It's like a half an hour, 45 minutes from here. Paintball field that the owner's grandson was actually on. I think he was on a NPPL team, maybe. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
remember. But, I mean, he was like semi-pro level, whatever.
Right.
And it was a solid field for a long time. And but you can also play airsoft there, so we would play paintball some, play airsoft some. And when
Nice.
all you got is springers and then the old trash VSR style M24s or something like that,
Yeah.
it it was all right, but it wasn't the same. And then jump back and forth, play paintball a little bit, and then don't really play anything. Get that string towards the end of high school and college. I'm not playing sports. I don't have time or the energy for that.
Right.
And then I kind of come back around to get into it, and I'm sort of picking up stuff here and there. And then I guess it's been 5 years now that I've been playing regularly again.
Okay.
Went back doing the outdoor thing. Went back up there, was playing with them HTKs outdoor
Mm.
here and there, which that's a little bit further away. So I'm not really being invested yet. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I'm
Right.
driving an hour seems like I don't get it at this point because as far as I know,
Hmm.
you just grab some guns and go in the backyard.
Right.
And now I'm understanding like the Milsim West and all of this stuff. And so as I'm going through all that, now I'm learning about Nybridge now and CeeLo and Kicking Mustang, all of those guys. So
Right.
of course, me being me, I had to try the sniper rifle, which was a mistake. And my
What?
like
What was that a
for
mistake?
me, for me, and I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's good, but then I realized like I can't just sit. That's not like it's bad.
Yeah. You need
I
some action, bro. Need some
the
action.
ADD kicks in, bro. Like I started looking around, not paying attention to shit that I should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went from that to AGM4, and then like eventually, weirdly, what happened was my cousin Rowan, also on the team. He's my little brother, my best friend. Like
Yeah.
we're like 5 years apart, but it like me and him.
Hmm.
That's how he got me into it because he knew a couple guys that had played up there, and I knew about Silver Spur is the name of the field, but I knew about it. I knew about playing airsoft there and all that, but I didn't know there was like a group, like 10 to 30 people at any given weekend, depending on what's going on and the weather and stuff. Southern Indiana, there's no telling what's going to happen.
Mm. Right.
So he ends up moving back to Florida where his mom lives and gets introduced to Battalion Airsoft, which is indoor field, in warehouse, all that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm watching his videos and that, and here there's nothing. Like we have Shot Zone now; they've been open for a year.
Right.
HTK finally got their indoor open, but we're kind of like. So I'm in Evansville, which is like right,
Oh
Illinois,
shit. Yeah.
Missouri, and
Yeah.
all that, right?
Right.
So I'm in the perfect spot, realistically. Like literally the crossroads of America over here, because
Right.
St. Louis is 2.5 hours. There's a couple
Okay.
fields there. You got Shot Zone in Martinsville. There's several different fields around Indy, and then Nashville's 2 hours. HGK is about an hour and a half. Like I'm in this
Oh shit.
good
Okay.
spot, but I'm still anywhere from 3 to 5 hours of driving if I want to play anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Especially with indoor. Indoor is even more limited because there's really only Nashville, HCK, and Shot Zone for me. I mean, I could
Right.
drive a little farther and get somewhere, but to do it in a day by myself, it's not really feasible. So I won't. I'm not going to overexert myself like that. I already know about driving
Oh
tired.
yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
worth it.
Bro. Yeah, we find out what the those little bumps on the side of the highway are for to keep you awake, you know? Because I would hit those all fucking night.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I
I
was talking
several
when I
times.
talked to did you want to see the one with Bunny? You know, the girl in
I started it.
uh
I
okay, so well, she
no
talked about that.
disrespect, but I fell asleep watching. I just
Yeah.
sit, like I can listen to you talking to pretty much anybody and just hang out, and then I'll fall
Yeah.
asleep sometimes. But that third shift life, I can't help it. I just
Oh,
fall
bro.
asleep.
You're
Like you can't help it sometimes.
zombie all the time. Yeah, just sleep whenever, you know, whenever you can. But yeah, she was talking about the same thing. She went on a road trip and she was the driver. And she said on the way back, she used those as her guide because so she would like, you know, and then
I've done
and
that.
use the
I've done that
bumps in the
several
road.
times.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Or do the
Dangerous as hell, but
convoy, and the
it's
guy in the
hey.
back has to make sure the guy in the front stays awake.
Yeah, I mean, you're not trying to. You're just like, bro. I mean, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Highway hypnosis is a real thing. If anybody tells
Hmm.
you that it's not, they're full of shit. They've never driven
Telling you
that
right
far.
now, bro. Especially when you hit those sections that are concrete and they're a little bit older, and they have those, you know, the strips they put in, like the cracks they put in to, you
Yep.
know, where they don't. I forget what they're called, but the relief cracks, whatever, so they don't. So it doesn't crack throughout the whole concrete, whatever. Well, you hit those, and you know your tires hit them.
It'll
Uh,
lull you right to sleep.
bro, for
Ah,
real now.
and Indiana is nothing but like every highway here is like that. Because I I don't know if they do it more in areas like where there's going to be a lot of snow and stuff, so they
Hmm.
tend to do it more to, I guess, impact for.
It
I mean
holds the
the
salt more.
yeah,
Like yeah, it doesn't break
'cause
up as fast.
the roads hit like, we just got that crazy storm, all that snow and all the salt and everything they did. I guarantee I'm gonna have like 15 more potholes on
Oh,
my
for
street
sure.
alone in the next like 2 weeks.
Definitely. Oh, I feel like the state should compensate us
That's
for
what I said.
for
You
our
know how many
car.
times
At least give us a free set of tires every year, bro. Cause your fucking roads are tearing up my tires. Okay,
and y'all already blew the budget on the roads, all the fucking salt you put on the roads.
it's a clusterfuck, man. Okay,
It's
look now.
ridiculous. The
So
best roads around here are usually repaved by CSX because they get tired of the shit driving in and out
oh
of the sidings and everything.
oh shit, nice. Hell yeah. So you go from so how did you get on this team? How did you get introduced
so
to Hit Squad?
so that's how I got let in. So Rowan moves down there, kind of introduces me to the idea of speedsoft. Well, I say that indoor CQB
Right,
is what
right,
I'm talking about.
right.
Speedsoft is more like the tournament,
The actual
SpeedQB's
tournament
game or
style
whatever.
with those
I
barriers.
100% agree with what Doc said. Like Speedsoft is what we're playing. SpeedQB is who's
That's the
hosting.
brand, right? He's like hosting it. You know, a
Yes.
speed QB. Like if
So
somebody says a speed QB game, well, see, I didn't remember when he corrected me, and I didn't know. I didn't know, and he told me about the difference between that, and I'm like, oh,
well, not
okay. So
everybody
now when I hear
believes that
somebody,
either. Though
right,
I've had arguments agreeing well, speed QB is the format. It's if you're playing tournament short field, that the three in the back, two in the front, flag in the middle,
yeah,
that setup, that's speed QB. Like,
oh,
well,
okay,
okay, but if it's not hosted by speed QB, is it still Speed QB. So then you got it.
So was Speed
Football is
QB
the
the
game,
term?
NFL is the league.
Right.
So speedsoft is the game. Speed QB is I, not really a league in the traditional sense, but that's the idea. Like they're the ones that came up with
Yeah.
the format. They're the one they have the
I need to have
sponsorships
Roy
and
on
the
here. I need to ask him because I wonder if that name, the Speed QB, if that term was already being used before he named his company that, because it's like if that's a category of like a style of play, like speed soft, paintball, because airsoft is general. Then within
right,
airsoft you have mil sims, you have skirmishes, what they call them over in the UK, like open play, one day whatever, where it's in the woods, woodland play. You've
right.
got speed soft, and then within speed soft you have CQB, and I think that's it, right? But Speed QB, what, I don't know. Was that being called Speed QB before there
See,
was actually Speed QB
I
company? I
don't
don't know.
know because
Yeah, I
even
don't
the
either.
idea like I've seen older videos of the kind of CQB, I should say,
Right.
like the old Japanese. I mean, really, that's
Yep.
where all this kind of started. Is
Uh huh.
where I mean, it's mainly just a floor in a warehouse somewhere that they stacked pallets, and it's just dudes with airsoft BBs and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and then progression from there. So I had no concept of what
Like I
the
don't even know what
sport
came
is or
first.
what you would call it,
Yeah.
and then my only introduction is Speed QB because HGK is sponsored by. I mean, they have a good relationship with Roy and those
Oh,
guys and all
okay.
that.
Okay.
So I
They run a
get
lot
it.
of
I
those
see it.
tournaments.
I
Yeah.
like, but I mean, it's like motocross. You can see Fox brand everywhere, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have any idea what they represent or what they
Right.
do for the sport or anything like that. So
Yeah.
now
It
I
is
kind of
different.
understand it a
It
little
is different.
better.
Now that you're saying this, now we're talking about this. Uh, is this the only sport that has this many variations? I don't fucking know. It's like okay, so think about football, American football. Uh, it's what other football is there? There's arena football that's fairly
There's
new.
arena and like NFL American foot. Canadian is a little bit. The Canadian league's a little different.
Yeah,
Like the field's a little, but I mean it's nothing like
but that's actually
the the
called
sport is still the
Canadian
same.
foot. Yeah, the sport's still the same, football. Yeah, I don't know. Airsoft has so many different facets, man.
Yeah, man,
It's
it's
crazy.
wild.
Uh huh. So
Just
the
within
speak,
indoor, there's the tournament indoor, Speed QB tournaments,
yeah,
CSL tournaments, now NSL tournaments.
right.
Well, the regular CQB, and then there's it depends on what you're playing really, because you call it CQB, but it could be an open warehouse with some walls up, or it could be an actual like blast camp up here is an old missile silo up
Yeah.
near Indy. So like there's actual buildings that you're playing in. I don't know. There's so many, like you said, there's so many different facets to it. I don't really know. That's why
Well,
I kind of get like kind of particular about. Well, you can't say Speed QB because they're
yep,
not sponsoring the event. They're not
exactly.
here,
Right.
so I'm not. I don't know if it's like a trademark situation or anything like that.
Yeah, but as far as like
YouTube copyright
clarifying
violation,
what
but
someone's saying, like if somebody said, "Yeah, I played Speed QB last weekend," your mind and mine, I wouldn't have never thought of that, but now that I've been educated on this stuff, whatever, now I'm going to think, "Oh, it was a tournament hosted by or an event or whatever hosted by Speed QB." But a lot of times, a lot of airsofters still say Speed QB, but it's not actually Speed QB hosted. So I'm going, wait, you mean Speedsoft? Like, what did you?
I
So people
I
need
don't know. I
educated,
don't
okay?
know.
Everyone needs educated. Like, find you, use the right words, all right?
Well, and I don't know if there is one. Really, that's the thing. Is like I don't. So I played from Florida to Indiana, pretty much most places in between, except Georgia at this point, and there's no real consensus on what's
S-
what. Everybody
Well,
like
what if we
SS,
what if we
Steve
decide?
QB tournaments. Okay,
Yeah,
is it
Steve
well?
QB,
But
bro.
that's Speed QB's format.
Oh
So
Lord.
what do you call that? That's what I'm saying.
Oh my
Like
goodness. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know
I'm
what's
kind of like
funny
Doc.
is
I get super particular about vernaculars. It's like
yeah,
I gotta know what you're
exactly.
talking about. So let's everybody decide. Okay,
The,
well,
yes.
Speed
Can we?
QB, CSL, and NSL are not all exactly the same, but we're
We're gonna
playing the
put out
same sport. So
a
what are we
definition
calling
sheet.
that?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. I think. What do you think about this? Anything that's indoor, okay, anything that's indoor is uh,
Speedsoft to me.
yeah, speedsoft or CQB. What? Well,
CQB I usually lean usually more for like the outdoor, like the milsim version. Yes, I mean you're kind
oh,
of
so you
indoor
can have
and
CQB
outdoor.
that's outdoor. Yeah, that's true.
But if it's
Okay.
like it's only indoor, you're just going from spawn A,
Yeah,
spawn B towards the middle and back. Whether it's respawns or what, whatever.
bro.
To me, that's speed soft because
Can we
it's
just have
only
a
meant
airsoft
to.
dictionary? That's what we need. And everyone needs to follow it, okay? We're gonna make everyone follow it or
But
we're gonna fucking ban you. We're gonna cancel you.
now we're gonna be banning people for not being able to read. That's not fair.
Oh shit. I know, right? Oh my god. Yeah, it can be confusing. So anyway, you were playing indoor stuff, whatever you want to.
Are you sure you're not from the Midwest? Because I swear these are the same conversations with every guy that I have. Like me and Houdini, me and Poom. We
Well,
always end up going
I
through the
grew up
same
in
thing. Like,
Cleveland, Ohio.
oh, all right, I get it.
So it
I get
is
it.
it's very similar. Like we're kind of on the edge. We're not really northeast, because it kind of cuts off like around Pennsylvania is that
Ah,
northeastern tip. Ohio is not really Midwest, right? Because it's not west enough.
well,
We're just in
technically,
this,
Rust Belt or whatever you want to
you
call
know,
it, but
yeah, right. And you know what is funny? I just found out maybe a couple months ago. I was talking with somebody that said Ohio is the new Florida man bad memes and shit. Okay, all the memes that come out. So you remember last year the
a
Florida man
high
bad,
bar,
like
man.
yeah, there was like there was like anything that was weird, like a meth head looking dude that was, walking down the street with his in his underwear holding a fucking beer or something. Okay, everyone assumes that's Florida, right? Well, I guess that has switched recently to Ohio. And I don't know how or why. So I told somebody,
Well,
yeah, I
well, I
grew up
mean,
in
they both
Ohio.
have a Miami, so I guess that's a.
That's true. It was funny as shit though. Yeah. So, who knows, man? But we're in this weird spot where we're not Midwest, we're not Northeast. It's just Ohio,
Yeah,
So, but
I
yeah, we have a lot of similarities. I had a
I
cousin that
think.
lived in Evansville, so
Oh no shit.
Indiana. Yeah, yeah, long time. He
Yeah,
died. He died a couple years ago, but yeah, he was over
that,
there. Yep.
that's
Yeah.
that's
So
Evansville.
Evansville.
That is Evansville. Like you're from Ohio and you live in Carolina, but you know somebody that lived here. And
Oh yeah,
like me and my wife, we were friends with the same people since early in high school, and we didn't meet until like 10 years ago. Like
yeah.
10 years after high school. So
Isn't that
it
wild?
doesn't make any sense. And we're like, there's even pictures where like if I put my picture next to hers, the same people are on the edges. Like
Oh,
we're
that's cool.
right next to each other.
Right.
This is the most Evansville thing of all time.
You're so close, but yet so far away. And you meet
It's
10 years later and go, oh, we went to the same high school?
you're
What?
like, wait, what?
Oh,
But yeah,
shit.
so weirdly, after from that, my cousin leaves here to go to Florida. I find my way to Speedsoft. I end up going down there. Weirdly, Speed QB. It was Roy, Demo, Sosa. They came to HCK and they did. Um, it was an indoor tournament Saturday, and then they went to the outdoor and did the KWA night games and
Hmm.
the red versus green tracers and objective
Oh,
games,
shit.
all that.
Nice. Okay.
So that was on Labor Day weekend. I didn't find out about it until I already booked everything to go to Florida to. I'm going to stay with Rowan. We go to battalion, and immediately I'm done with outdoor. Like immediately, I'm like, this is it. Like this is.
Really? Like you
I've
found
been
your place.
yeah. Like I immediately fell in, and not that I wouldn't play outdoor or anything like that, because I still have since then, and I still would.
But you
But it,
you wanted the fast pace, like I'm ready when
yeah, that
when they say go, it's action nonstop until you get
I used to
out or until we win.
I used to play Unreal and Quake tournaments, Call of Duty
Same.
when they started. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's it right there. Like this is it. This is
Yes.
what I've been looking for.
Yep.
So I go from there. At the time, I only had one. Now I've since probably had like 15 and sold them or gave them away or whatever. But I started with this one,
Ooh, that's pretty.
which you can actually. I don't even have any extra ones, but Blowback
That is
Masters.
nice,
You
bro.
you could get a sticker of this gun. This is actually
Really?
the only AEP sticker that exists right now is of this gun. So I started with this one.
What do you mean? What? A sticker?
Yeah, so Blowback Masters, what he does, Benji's the guy. Like he's my guy.
Yeah.
He basically every order you just get random stuff, a Blowback Master sticker or something.
Oh,
Uh
okay.
he's got like 3 or 4 different ones. Can't pick up the sticker. So you'll just get random stuff. And then he started doing these for little tiny little
Oh,
high
nice.
cap of stickers. So a
Nice. Okay.
little black one, a little red one. So
Oh,
then
that's
he
cool.
made one of my AAP. Only one that's out there that I've seen anywhere that I'm aware of.
Right.
And it's after mine, which is kind of mind blowing. It is the weirdest thing that people have stickers of my gun on their gear. Like I still can't put that together in my head. But I started with
Is
this.
that a custom gun like that you had made or whatever?
So this is the Action Army AEP-01.
Yeah.
I go and buy it. All I painted this part and the little strip here, and this is just like their BBU or their charging handle,
Right.
cow red BBU, red trigger. I custom built all of this myself and then painted the little
Oh,
bits, but
yeah, yeah. So the red
uh
that's on there, you did. It wasn't like a standard thing.
no.
It didn't come that way. It wasn't like offered that way. And then so you're seeing stickers,
This is what they look like.
right.
So I just
So you did
peeled
that
the
yourself.
peeled
Yeah.
that off and these little divots, just filled that in with paint and kind of smoothed it out. Like I've been rocking that. That was the very first one I bought. Built it up. I'm since changed parts. I couldn't even tell you how many times, but
Right.
that's I just stuck with them.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
these are the two guns that I use in competition.
Hmm.
Just these two. And this one is, I mean, I've changed the trigger, rebuilt the insides, but just leave it completely stock. You know, simple sleeper. And I've built so many of them at this point. But that's what I started with. That's why I went. That's all I had when I went down to battalion. So I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna be like. I don't. I know it's high. I'm watching everybody's videos that I know from
Right.
down there, and I know it's high pace. It's Call of Duty is effectively what it is. You've got a
Yep.
spawn on the opposite corners. You got 10 minutes. Just keep going. Domination or team deathmatch, whatever.
Yeah.
So I go down there and I'm playing. I'm getting the feel for that part of it. But at this point, I still don't understand tournament play. Like I've seen it,
Hmm.
I've watched it all of that, but I don't like most things until I do it. I'm not going to fully get it.
Right.
So I'm kind of interested, but there's really no setup because again, I'm in a kind of a dead zone. It's hard for me to meet and commit to a team when I'm by myself. I don't know anybody around that plays indoor. I'm driving a minimum of 2 hours to be able to play. So it's even harder to try to keep up with practice and stuff like that, especially working third shift. So I'm on an opposite schedule from most people. I've
Yeah.
been on third shift most of my adult life,
Uh-huh.
and then which ultimately, like tonight, I have to work. Well, to try to leave work, drive 2 hours to go play, then play all day, and then drive
Yeah.
2 hours home. Like it's
Bro.
it's tough.
Uh-huh.
But then eventually he gets on a team. I get brought in, even though they're all in full. I mean, around Jacksonville somewhere within a couple
Mm-hmm.
hours of there, Daytona, whatever.
Okay.
They bring me in like potentially build my own team up here under still the same name, but just have my own
Gotcha.
guys up here. There was a pretty. I don't want to be disparaging about it. I don't want to talk about anybody or anything like that because the dudes that I was on that team with the a few exceptions, were great, and I actually brought several of them with me. I don't want to say it like that, but we all came together to HSA.
Yeah.
But it was just bad energy, bad vibes. It was not the way we wanted the team handled or us individually as a teammates handled.
Right.
Like it was just bad juju. So we just move on
Yeah.
from that.
Right.
And I've known Scott, following Scotto for a while. He played with our previous team in a tournament at Battalion and won. Actually, that
Oh
was their
shit.
very first win. Was with Scotto on the team.
Oh, okay.
We already had this connection with HSA, and I mean, Houdini jumps in. I've known him for a minute now, and me and him are like somehow we were separated at birth. Like Rowan and I are Jay and Silent Bob in that
Oh shit.
dynamic. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
me and Houdini are Schwarzenegger and De Niro, or not De
Oh,
Niro,
uh fucking the guy
blank.
that does the Jersey Mike's commercials now.
Uh
The short dude.
yeah, and
Uh Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
so we
Twins.
have that kind of like, and yes, Houdini, you're fucking DeVito. I don't care.
Oh, he's short. He told me he's short. Little short fucker. That's probably why he went in the Marine Corps. Houdini, if you're listening, that's probably why you went in the Corps, okay? Because you had short man syndrome and
Or
you want to prove everybody.
that's what I said. You just had something to prove, didn't you?
Exactly. Yes.
But me and him are weirdly similar. Like we had after a tournament shot zone one time, we just had this random long heart to heart about like high school. He went to the military. I had the whole plan. I went to MEPS. They weren't super happy with my knee, and like it didn't
Oh,
go the way I wanted it to go. So I've just been working in factories and all that. But I most of my life, all I wanted to do was be a Marine. That's all I cared.
oh shit.
I
Okay.
learned English in 29 palms, if that tells you anything.
Oh shit. For real?
I, more or less. So I was like
Was your dad in?
3-ish. Yeah. So
Oh, he was stationed out there.
he went from here. We followed him while he was at Paris. We were because a family member was living in Charleston or something like that. So
Okay.
we went there while he was at Paris, and then we followed him
Was
out
he a
to
DI?
California. Huh?
Was he a drill instructor?
No, when he was at
Oh, when he went
for
in.
basic, and then for MOS he
Okay.
went to 29, and
29
he was actually
stumps.
with the San Diego earthquakes and all. The San Diego disaster was at like 90, 91, something like that.
Okay.
So I was only like 2, 3, whatever. But like
Yeah.
one of the first phone calls to my grandparents from there, I was I think 3, was just to hop on the phone and tell my grandma I'm a little shit and I'm partying with hanging out while they're partying, I guess you should say, out in the front yard and just Marines. Look, I
Oh
don't,
yeah.
you don't, I don't have to explain that to you, but
Yeah.
Marines and a very small impressionable child is around.
Oh, of
Shit
course. Yeah.
happens.
For real. Yeah. And if your dad's
Terrorizing.
cool, then if your dad's pretty cool, like if you guys are pretty cool, then you grew up that way, then you probably want to go in. If your dad's real like overbearing and you don't get along and he's just really strict, then these are the kind of people that don't want to like they go away from like I'm definitely not going in the Marines, but yeah, usually
To the
that's
point I made earlier,
yeah.
I fucked that theory all up
Oh, really?
because because I was basically in boot camp for the first like 10 years of my life.
Yeah,
That's what made me want like he was the kind of live by the same ideas. Obviously, it doesn't apply the same, but so
yeah.
he went in and he was like 17, like dropped out early, went into all that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the personal details of his career, I couldn't tell you. I
Yeah.
he and I haven't even talked to him in like 15 years now, so
Oh shit.
I don't actually know the whole story. I've heard a lot of bullshit from a lot of different sides about what went on with him and my mom, all that kind of shit. So
Right, right.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't it doesn't really matter. It's not that important type of thing.
Yeah,
But because of all of that, it's like it was almost like just conditioned to like what else the hell am I gonna do anyway?
right.
Like that's all I care. And but then later on, as of course I hit puberty and became that like fuck this guy kind of mindset.
Right.
It
Yeah.
became a like, well, you know what? He doesn't think much of me, so I'm gonna become a Marine and be better than he was,
Mm,
and like prove him wrong or just whatever the case is.
right.
And so I went through the whole thing, spent like 6 months talking to the recruiter and all of that. Go to
Mm-hmm.
MEPS. They're not. I've had an issue with my knee since I was like 11, like
Okay.
for most of my life anyway.
Right.
So they weren't super happy about that. Whatever. However that falls out, I end up just ignoring it. A lot of other went sideways. I start going to community college, but I'm just partying at that point. Everybody, all of my friends are gone. They're either
Okay.
Marines or Army. They already deployed at this point, or now they're going to training or whatever the case is.
Right.
I'm all right. Well, I'm here. I'll wait for them to come back. That's cool. I hope for the best. That
Right.
I have. It's whatever. I'm just gonna hang out then.
Yeah.
But
That's
because
most
of
people, honestly.
that,
Yeah.
like two different sides of it, because Houdini had his path and I had mine, but we're
Yeah.
still almost the same person. It's
Oh, yeah, for
fucking
sure.
weird.
For sure.
Hit first names the same. Both of our call signs end in two eyes. Uh, It was
That's true.
weird. It was
That is weird.
weird.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you guys got together and did that, right? Like,
No, completely. I had no idea who he was when I picked that call sign, and
oh, that's
then
crazy.
we were at Wings after a tournament one time when we realized we actually have the same first name because somebody said it from the other end of the table, and we both look up and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
Like
So
this
I,
fucking
I get in
jarhead
with
over here.
them,
Yeah.
and that leads to HSA. I know who they are. I've been rocking with HSA for a long time anyway. Even just because of the introduction I got through my previous team that no
Yeah.
longer exists. I already knew what was going on, but then he joins the team, and then we're talking more of like prospecting, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I mean, why not? I want a team that's at a higher level than what I was at to
Right.
actually see what's going to happen with this whole speedsoft thing. Because
Right.
I mean, I don't know how aware you are of the whole thing, but it's not. This ain't an NXL or socials league or anything like. We're just doing it. It's us. We have our sponsors or whatever, and that's cool. We discount codes and Benji helps us with all kinds of stuff. Shout out Benji.
Hell
And
yeah.
it's not at that level though. So it's still we're paying out of pocket and all that. Well, if I'm gonna do that, I want some people that will invest in me and themselves as much as I want to.
Right.
Because when you're on a team and you're the only one trying to make tournaments, you're the only one trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing at the tournaments, like learning how to coach or learning
Right.
strategies and all that stuff. If you're not getting effort from the other four dudes on your team, you're shooting yourself in the fucking foot anyway. So
It sucks. It sucks when it's like that. When everyone is if you have, five on a team and you have four or three that are or just two that are gung ho. Like we want to be better. We want to do well. We want to do, I want to take it to the next level. I'm tired of playing. I'm done with playing just the regular pickup games every weekend. With 12-year-olds. I mean, that's fine when you start out, but I want to test my skills
right,
against a team that
right,
is as good or better than us because I
and
want to get better. And
and
then
then
you got two guys on your team that are like, yeah, I don't really want to go in that direction. Like that's very common,
right, right, and
Yeah.
then I'm in a particularly unique situation in the fact that I'm on a speedsoft team by myself. It, so yes, I'm on the team and I can see their videos of them playing together and winning a tournament, winning another tournament, and playing these different styles. Like battalion will do speed QB style, and then they'll do full field, which is, I mean, the living room versus the whole house, basically.
Gotcha. Hmm.
So I'm seeing what they're doing with all this, and I'm by myself. I
Oh,
don't get to
because there's
play
no one
with
else around. Right.
yeah,
Right.
they're all in Florida and I'm in Indiana. I don't
Right.
get to play with them. I don't
Uh-huh.
I mean I can do the hype thing before and after and that kind of thing, talk,
Hmm.
but it's not the same. I'm not there. I'm
No.
not even if I'm not playing, I'm not there, so it's not the same
Right.
energy, it's not the same feeling. And then I'm also at the same time expected to build my own 5 man here, but
Mm.
I'm 2 hours away from a field. How am I supposed to be able to facilitate all of that and my job and the travel time it takes me? Like, I can't get all this stuff going at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of already counting myself out at that point, and like, there's
Sure.
no, I can't get it together. And then it's weird. It like everything just kind of lined up. I don't know how else to say it except it just lined up beautifully. My wife and I bought a house the same time Rowan moved back here from Florida,
Mm.
and then we prospect for HSA. Like it all, like he moved back here from Florida, U-Haul and a car full of stuff and 5 ferrets and two and
What?
a dog and like load up and come back up here the same day I'm moving into this house now. And then the next weekend we played in a tournament in Nashville under HSA.
Holy
So
shit.
me, him, Houdini,
That's
we played.
wild.
Actually, it was Houdini and Cujo, Rowan and I, and then Jules, which is he's also a teammate, came with us from our previous team too. He came up from Florida to Nashville just to be able to play with us in that tournament.
Right.
First tournament with them, I think we took like fourth. Nashville's kind of like is low key a real battleground. There's a lot of good players and several very good teams that
Yeah.
play every weekend there.
Hmm.
So at this time, this is only my third tournament. So with my previous team, they played a lot down there, but they came up here, we played at Shot Zone in January in their very first tournament. I refed a couple, played a pickup with the Praetorians on one. I refed more than I actually played, so I'm seeing it from this other perspective, and I'm getting a better grasp of all of it. And now I'm in an opportunity or in a position for the opportunity to play for arguably one of the bigger name teams in the East Coast of Midwest area, and doing it in Nashville with Houdini, who I already know I have a good relationship with. My little brother in Rowan, Jules, I know is Jules. He's literally the little brother. He's the minor, so he's the literal little brother of everybody. And
Right.
like, all right, let's. I like how this is going to work out. And we went from that to I think it was like a month later, month or so, shot zone tournament, and we ended up bringing up more people from Florida and had two teams running. And that one, Rowan and I were on A team. Houdini had the B team. We end up beating the B team. Going through, we might have lost our first match actually, but we ended up going through, meeting up with them, beating them, which are the guys that are more established than me anyway. I have the most absurd case of imposter syndrome. Like, I've been playing arguably the longest out of most people, other than like Houdini. There's a few people that have been playing longer, but I've been within Airsoft a lot longer than most people that I've played with, and yet
Yeah.
I still just I don't know what I feel like. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time until I'm
Yeah.
out there. Then it kind of clicks in place. But
Right.
and then that one we take second place.
Oh
I'm like,
shit.
okay, now we're on the team. Now we're jerseys are coming, that whole thing. Now we're official, and it like we've just slowly become this like it's almost like an NFL team. That's the only way I can describe it. Is like it's the same as a football team to me, which I played some football when I was younger and all that. And especially basketball, like
Yeah.
that team thing of like you can go do your own thing, but when you come back together, you've been practicing the whole time and you didn't even know the difference. And it's
Mm-hmm.
it's super weird. Like we've all been doing our own thing. Like we'll jump in other teams and play with them at different fields or whatever, or we'll last minute get together and make a team for Nashville or Shot Zone or whatever. But anytime we get together, it's like we're not all over the country and don't get to play together except at these
It's
tournaments.
like you were never apart. Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
That's yeah, that's the chemistry, man. It's you got to have, and honestly a lot of that, I think the majority of that is personality types. Like there's a certain chemistry that people put out, or vibe, vibrations and all that stuff, frequency that people put out, and a lot of that has to do with their personality types, and naturally their upbringing. But it is, yeah, when you got to have the right chemistry with everybody on a team. Not everybody, but close enough. Within this range of frequencies
Yep.
that they're all yeah, when you go uh you know 2 months without actually being face to face, without practicing together, without running and gunning together in person, but you're doing it on your own, or you're doing it here and there, and then you all come together and it's like you never left from the last time. You just pick up where you left off. It's the best
It's
feeling. it,
oh
it
yeah.
really is.
It's the most beautiful thing. And it's wild too for me because I refed them at a Shot Zone tournament. They HSA in a different iteration, but still the same team that I'm now a part of, and like the transition is still kind of blows my mind a little bit. Like it
Right.
still plays in that imposter syndrome thing, but like I'm just a role player, man. I'm just here to show up. I need a team that not that a team that can carry me, but a name that can. I can't
Yeah.
because yes, I'm an objective player. I'm gonna get the flag or I'm gonna get two people out, whatever. But I'm going out. I'm not gonna. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not gonna make it to the end of the round because that's not what I'm there for. I'm
Right.
there to better our chances.
Mm-hmm.
And if I make it to the end, cool. But if I don't, so what? I play airsoft to get shot. That's all there is to it. I'm not playing to shoot other people. I'm playing to get shot.
Yeah.
I took that from Demo. He said that one time, and it just once that set in, like it's always fun. I don't care. I don't. It's yes, I get heated in competition, and I
I was gonna say you want to
several
win
people have
for
heard me
sure.
talk a lot. And understand, I'm from Indiana, where we play a lot of basketball. I am a street baller in that sense. I talk shit. I don't mean anything by it, but I have to compete against you, so I'm thinking about your brain. So
For
I'm just gonna
sure.
talk shit the whole time. Like I can't
Right.
help it.
We're gonna Conor McGregor your ass, bitch. Okay.
That's
It's a
I'll pull a
very
ton of
effective
swagger.
tool,
I
man. It
exactly. It
is.
is. It
Not to
psychology is
mention, not to
equally as
mention, it's
important in
fun.
competition
Yeah,
as talent.
for sure. And
And
it makes it more fun. And the ones that don't like that, I feel like look, we're not on the same wavelength, bro. Like if you get offended, or if you, and I feel like a lot of people are starting to this the word toxic and toxicity in airsoft is it's like that word is spilling over into
Um,
like the definition of that word has fucking it's like the ocean. It's like if you looked at me wrong, you gave me a weird look on the field because we lost or you lost or whatever, that you're toxic. And I'm like, okay, we need to redefine what the fuck you're talking about here when we're talking about toxicity and toxic players and this and that because y'all are talking like for me, bro, you'd literally have to punch me in the face. Like like angrily, not like, hey, we're bros and we're drunk. I'm gonna punch you in the face because that, hey, that could be a love tap. I don't know, but if you're pissed off and I don't know you, and then you come at me and punch me in the face, that is bad. Okay, everything else is just words. Is not bad to me. I don't get it.
yes and no. It depends on how far it goes. Basically,
Mm,
that's all that is. Like if it's we're on the field, we're playing, and you're talking shit, whatever. It's on the field. Now,
yeah.
if it continues and you're not talking about just what happened on the field anymore,
Oh well,
okay,
that yeah,
then
for sure.
that's where
Yeah,
now
yeah.
you're crossing the line. But
Yeah,
outside
you
of
can
that,
talk
like
about me, but don't talk about my family or my wife or
fair,
my kids.
right,
Or, that's different. Yeah.
exactly. I I mean,
Except yo mama jokes. The mom jokes, those are classic. You got to say that. Okay, those
I
are
only
those are
say
good.
no mama jokes because there's be more original, bro. Come on, like put some effort into it. If you're
Those are
gonna talk
still fun.
shit, you know what
Those
I
are
mean?
vintage. How dare you? Okay.
Okay, while I do enjoy nostalgia, I don't like if you're gonna talk shit on the field, at least you could do is like put some effort into it. Like, write a few lines or
That
something.
was a shitty shot. Your mom liked it. Like I mean, come on.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Hell yeah.
But
So you got on HSA. It like fell into place. Found your spot. It all came together. You got your
and
your twin brother Houdini. Yeah, that's you
and
got a,
and
got a
Rowan
good
and I
team,
had the relationship. I mean, he's my cousin.
right?
He's like my little brother. We've been super close for a long time.
Yeah.
But he's kind of the reason I even got back into airsoft at
Hmm.
all, and then also the reason I got into speedsoft. And we have, I couldn't even tell you for how long we've been playing competitive level Call of Duty together. So we have this chemistry, like and it translates directly to the field too. That the communication he and I have doesn't have to be verbal at all.
Right.
So our dynamic on the field lent to the team now that we had three other people also with us on the field.
Hmm.
It just the way everything meshed. It just perfect. And Houdini is better with the strategy and like, that kind of the coaching side of the stuff, but not to say that he's not a good player, but I'm not I won't take captain. I'm not going to tell people what to do. Like you know what you're good at.
Right.
You know where you should and shouldn't take your angles. You know where you should and shouldn't look. You need to be able to do that without me being over the top of you about it.
Right.
Just understand, like this is what I'm gonna do, so you need to pay attention to what you're doing in correlation to what
Hmm.
I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm not. I that
Everyone needs to know their role. Everyone needs to know their position, and whatever that encompasses. Like it's like
and
football. You get together in a huddle. The quarterback calls the play because he's getting it from the coach or whatever, and
receiver
then
and corner.
everyone, yeah, the receivers, the blockers, the running back, everyone should know what their position is, what they're supposed to do, and if there's
100%.
no if there's no crazy kind of reason to change that, like call an audible or whatever, then you know what to do. Like if this happens, then do this because this is your position, this is your role
Right,
in the on this
right.
team. So everyone needs to know
And
that going into it. And when you have to
I
explain that to people,
I
it's
just
really
don't
that's the
think.
weak link.
I could be wrong. I am also making assumptions, but what I do know of people as well. I don't think enough people specifically in airsoft or speedsoft that we're playing have played organized sports enough or know organized sports enough
They
to know
don't.
that structure of like because
Almost everyone I've talked
every
with
time I
did not
play, the
play
first thing
organized
I
sports.
do, well,
Hmm.
well for shot zone especially because Ethan is constantly every weekend is a different layout
Oh, okay.
because he's got those inflatables. He can just do whatever he
Hmm.
wants. So the first thing I do when I hit the field is how many steps to this bunker? How many steps to this bunker? How many steps? Okay, what's my angle on here? What angle do I have to watch for as I'm getting to that bunker? I don't care what you're doing. I know there's going to be somebody behind me, and I don't have to worry about what they're doing. I
Yeah.
just know where to not put my head so I don't get hit by them. But other than that, like that's what I meant when I said receiver and corner. That when I played in like cub football type middle schools, and
Right.
learning that at the time has kind of disciplined me for everything else. So, like
Sure.
if I have all the information in front of me at first, I know how I can apply it to me.
Hmm.
Well, we need all five people to be able to do that in order for a team to work perfectly because
Yeah.
we can all have our ideas about what someone else needs to do, but you can't see what they can see.
Hmm.
So, yes, I can see you have an angle on this guy from over there, but I'm not where you are, so I
You're not
can't
looking
see
through
what
their
angle.
eyes. Yep.
Right.
Hmm.
And if I try to apply that same, and basketball is the same way. I mean, a center knows where he needs to be. The
Yeah.
point guard has to be the one to take the ball up the court. Like everybody has their specific thing that they need to do. That's all you should really focus on because if you're too focused, tunnel vision is a problem.
Right.
But if you're not focused on what you should be doing and more focused on what other people aren't doing, you're still screwing yourself. So
Hmm.
focus on yourself and be the best that you can be, and hope and believe that you can rely on your teammates to do the same.
Yeah.
HSA is not a problem,
Yeah. That's good.
thankfully.
So what? I want to go over some of the stuff in on your wall in the back
Ooh,
behind
yeah.
you. So you got multiple jerseys? Is that what it is?
Aside from the wall, I'm not super happy with this color green, but yeah. So
That's all right, man.
this
Because
is
I know you have
my.
to go to work, so I'm trying to. I don't want to run out of time.
Oh, you're good.
For you.
I
Okay.
Yeah, I still got like
Okay.
45
Good.
minutes before I actually have to start getting ready, so we're good.
All right.
So my
Oh, this is your
NSL,
ref. Okay.
but not NSL, I shouldn't say that. Shot zone,
Yeah.
um, ref jersey, because
Nice.
I haven't been recently just because of playing more often than not with HSA there.
Yeah.
But if I'm not playing, generally I'll go up there and help ref because regardless of what's going on, like if I'm not playing, I like to be able to help other people in their, because shot zone especially, I've seen a lot of new teams come, and being new to the format is one thing, but also you're playing on turf in a much bigger field on inflatables. There's a whole other learning curve to that. So
Yeah.
I like getting in with the younger guys, try to teach them what I can and help them out where I can, and being able to ref them helps me as a player just because I know what the refs are looking for when I'm playing.
Exactly.
And my HSA jersey on the other side.
Yeah, that's nice.
Uh, and I got my chest rig, my belt down here. That's what if I'm using a rifle, it's a chest rig.
Okay.
My pistols,
And
it's a
what's the
belt.
orange? What is that? 32? 52? What is that? 52.
What am I looking at?
I don't know. There's something orange behind the HSA flag or red. Oh. Oh, never mind. It's orange. Oh my God, bro, those are hangers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like an idiot. Oh my God, I feel so dumb. So I
Oh,
swear to God, it looked like another like flag with numbers. Oh Jesus. Okay. I could not tell those were hangers, bro.
yeah. No, I
Oh,
just got
that's
the
funny.
pegboard up,
Okay.
and I still need
Just
to get more
look,
of the.
bro. I'm not smart, so it takes me a minute to catch on.
I mean, that is far away. It's hard to.
Oh my
That's
God,
why.
that's funny. Okay.
Oh, that's why I put the flag up here because normally I have it back there behind So I've got
Oh,
this whole
okay.
shelf, like my case, my dice, trophy from the last
Nice.
tournament, but I've got
That's your wall for hanging stuff.
a huge pegboard wall, but I
Yeah,
don't really have enough
to
of
put on
the pegs and the
it.
shelf, like, all of that to put what I want up. So I was like, chest rigs, throw the flag up. It's all right. It's a good
Okay.
backdrop. It'll be fine.
Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. All right. Now, what's that trophy
That
on the
is
shelf?
Ruby's Pit Fighter. We took second place. FRA got first. We got second. PVZ got
Nice.
third.
That was recent. Yeah.
That was 4-on-4. Definitely a little different because they do more of like the NSL style. There's no flag. It's just time limit, however many games you can get in, all that.
Yeah.
But it was uh, Rowan and I, of course. He kind of anchored the whole thing because we weren't going to play, and then well, we were gonna go, but I don't know if we want to play, and we ended up getting a
Mm.
team together anyway. Just went ahead and did it. Ended up lost our first game to Nebula.
Oh, that's
Uh,
why Houdini said yeah,
yeah, so
yeah, yeah,
I love
last time.
those. Nebula, like they're HSA adjacent to
Uh,
like we play with them. We play actually several tournaments in a row. We were at the same tournament, never played against each other. Never
oh
played
wow.
against each other. Never played
Yeah.
against. Then we end up. They needed a couple extra people, or well, actually only needed one, and end up bringing Rowan with me anyway for an HDK tournament. So I jumped in with them there. Like we've always been back and forth, but we never got to play each other. And then we
Yeah.
finally got to play each other. Like it was kind of a back and forth, but they won ultimately in points. And then we came back and just swept through everybody else, and got back to the finals and ended up losing at the very end, which sort of I don't feel like I'm experienced enough to really be that upset with getting two second place finishes in four tournaments that I've played in on this team.
Right.
I'm not mad about that. We drove 16 hours with six dudes in a van
Right.
to Tampa to play with our whole team. We had three teams ultimately because we had so many people there.
Right.
And we just hang out. We go
Yeah.
play, we do our thing on our each individual teams, we hype each other up all through, whatever. It's cool, but really we're just hanging out.
Right.
That's ultimately what we all it
I mean,
comes
it's
down
cool
to.
you came in second though, man. That's I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know, that imposter syndrome thing. Like, yeah, but it's not first place.
The what
It's
is that?
never good enough.
What's that NASCAR movie that's funny? If you ain't first, you're
Yeah,
last.
yep, I say it all the time. If you ain't
Talladega
first, you're
Nights.
last. That's
I
that. Me
love
and
that
Roman
movie,
all
dude.
the time. You'll see us do the shake and bake.
Oh, the shake and bake. If you ain't first, you're last. Shut up, Grandpa! Come at you like a spider monkey. You know that shit. I'm all hopped
You
up on Mountain Dew.
actually there was
There's so many one-liners in that movie.
I don't remember whose video it was, but you'll hear me say it like we're in staging, and as like coming out, you'll hear me go, "I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew." Like, where did that even come from? Like that was definitely me. I know I'm tone deaf, but I know that was my voice. I definitely did.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome, dude. So how do you feel about the NSL tournaments? How do you feel about the
I
NSL coming over here and then the tournaments? And do you know the difference, like the rules, like how they run, and how do you feel about the like the whole thing? What you guys are going to be doing here
so,
soon?
so we went to that practice at
Yeah.
Shot Zone a few weeks ago. Overall, eh, in the larger scope, it's not that much different. Only because Ethan kind of set us up for that. Like he was trying, he was pushing to get
Yeah.
NSL over here. He
Okay.
he was the one kind of driving factor for me anyway, specifically
Mm,
of being interested in trying to play that way and all that.
mm,
It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So because of that, he started his own. Like, well, we're just gonna get rid of the flag, so we'll play more like NXL paintball style.
gotcha.
We've done um, the Windy City layout. We did what's the one in Houston not too long ago? Like
Oh,
we've mirrored their layouts for tournaments.
the
We've
Evike
done all these things to
outpost or
like
whatever.
yeah. So we're
High grounds.
already going that way,
Mm-hmm.
and by switching to well, like we did one at 12 minutes. 12 minutes. If you haven't done it and you play speedsoft for 12 minutes straight, you will learn very quickly how shitty your cardio is.
What? So wait a minute. What do you mean the 12 minutes? So
Okay, so
that's one of the differences I think that Houdini was talking about.
right, so NSL is even a little different than that. So
Oh,
you have
right,
a
right, right.
time
So the
limit
timer starts and you play as many matches, right?
as you can in that time.
In that
Yeah,
12 minutes.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit, right, right.
So
Okay.
so with Ethan, the way he was doing it is you have no center flag, but you do have the NSL, the bunker touch at the opposite side, whether they're up or
Gotcha.
not. Go from
Okay.
there.
And
All of
that's how
that.
you win is touch.
There is no like points for this thing, points for that thing. Take points away for
It's
this thing.
yeah,
There's it's the point is whether you
touch
fucking
the
won
wall.
or not. Like that. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
Did you win? Did you still have people on the field? And did you hit their buzzer or did they hit yours? That's all there is
Gotcha.
to it.
Gotcha.
So building on that, going into
I
NSL,
kind of like that. I like that, man. Okay.
I'm a fan of it. So we
Yeah.
started with the 12 minutes, then he decided to dial back to 8, which I think is more feasible
Okay.
for him and the players both. Because 12 minutes is a long time, especially if you're not used to going that long.
Bro.
It's tough, especially with him because if you think that field is on an indoor soccer field. It's 40 no, excuse me, 70 feet by 120 feet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, if you're doing a 40-yard dash over and over and over for 12 minutes, it is gonna wear you the hell out.
And it's not just you're running through a line, like you're running to
Not
this line, like,
exactly
upright. Like you are ducked down, you're running it, which takes a lot more energy
in a mask.
than running straight up and a mask, right? And your gear, your gun or whatever, and you're diving or you're sliding on your knees. Totally different than running a 40-yard dash, right? Just straight up running a
Exactly,
40-yard dash.
exactly.
So way more exertion, way more physical.
Plus,
Uh,
at 12 minutes, usually the last several games would just be lackluster just because everybody's gassed at that point. So it's hard to
mm-hmm.
keep the action
Yeah.
high like you did the first two or three
Gotcha.
when you got nothing left in the tank. You're running out of BBs, you're running out of air, you're running out of gas, whatever it is,
Bro.
and it's
So,
tough, but
do you, yeah.
it's also from the other side of it. The logistics of that just make no sense.
Mm,
So every game is 12 minutes. You figure you have to do first you do a round robin to set your seeding, then you do a final seeding of the top two teams from each of the round robin brackets,
yeah.
and then that's two 12-minute games, and then another 12-minute game for the final. You're talking 14-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
That it's hard to keep anybody in anything that long. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well,
It's
I wonder if that's why, maybe part of the reason why their rules are like that is because that is the next level. Okay, so like if you look at any sport out there, any kind of sport that we watch or play or grow up playing or whatever, you have baseball, soccer, tennis. What's the one where they have the net and lacrosse? Okay,
mm,
um, basketball, football. All these things are physical. Most sport. Well, that's what it's a sport. So the next level you go up to, okay, is more. Like, you're expected to do more in less time. So
right,
you will play more, you will do more, you will run more, you will exert yourself more, you will practice more, you will lift more, right? Like football, you will lift weights more, you will lift heavier, you will show progress and show gains. All of that shit. Okay, that is how you get to the next level. Where what you're with Speedsoft, there's pickup games. Then what is the next level? Then so there's some tournaments that are just like a little more elaborate pickup games. They're just like somebody made something up. Okay, like I'm gonna host an event. Oh yeah, let's get these 5 teams together and or whatever, to play a
Yeah.
tournament. So
While
what
still
what is the
in the
top
same
tier?
format, I would say
Yeah,
it's open play to like the field tournaments.
yeah,
That's what I would call them. Is like, and
okay,
then more of. I don't want to put them on a scale. I don't mean to do it like that, but Speed QB is a little bit lower in the sense of they're not traditional league style, so there's no aggregate points, there's no season, whatever. Like there's just tournaments that have Speed QB's name on them, and then tournaments
gotcha.
that have Speed QB present, I should
Hmm.
say, and SYG or whatever. And then CSL, I don't really mean above Speed QB, but they're, I would say, next step from that, in that there's an actual season. Your points throughout the season matter. It's not just
Right.
the one individual tournament. They're not all one shots.
Well,
And
the other thing
then
too was as far as what Keegan was talking about when I talked with him on here, the difference between his CSL and then Speed QB stuff, and one rule that he will not bend on and not give in on is the
HVA pistols.
yes, with larger mags or drum mags or whatever, like all the tap stuff, like you and I'm with him on that. If you want the next level, it should be more on your skill, not more on, oh, I don't have to reload for fucking 10 years. You know what I mean? Um, it should be more on your skill. And it does take a little more work for
Agree,
you know
and disagree, because he
okay,
is going to allow. From I understood
yeah,
that tap shotgun shell adapter, so that's still, I guess, really the same as a green gas mag, only on HVA, because you're not going to get really any more than 30 out of a
yeah,
shotgun shell anyway. So that I agree and disagree, because green gas is volatile, it is inconsistent, it is not great for the internals of your gun if they're anything other than steel. Like
mm,
it just inherently it causes more problems to me, in my opinion,
yeah,
than HVA does. So
huh,
while I'm not in disagreement with having a 250
yeah,
round
yeah.
mag for my pistol, because I agree that is fucking absurd. It is.
Well, that
But
was the only thing. I don't know any of that stuff, like all the internal stuff, how it works, and what affects
right,
what.
right. And that's what I mean. Like just from the
Yeah,
competition perspective, I would
HPA, or I guess
rather
it doesn't matter
HVA.
the way your BB comes out. I don't, as far as skill goes, I was only thinking of like you
But
shouldn't have. Yeah,
I only say that because really, ultimately, if you have a pistol on HPA,
yeah,
you're probably using M4 mags or
right,
MP5, or
right.
what way above what a pistol is
Other
actually
than
capable
pistol
of as
mags.
a pistol.
Yeah,
But with the shotgun shell adapter, well, shotgun shells generally aren't more than 30, so you're more or less getting the same as like a double stack mag, and most of those are 28 to 32, somewhere in there.
yeah,
So I that's why I say I agree and disagree. I would rather have HPA, but I also agree that having a 250 round M4 mag for my pistol is absurd. I I played a tournament at Nashville with 2 magazines,
yeah,
less than 500 rounds for an entire tournament.
right.
That's absurd. You know, if
So in a tournament, you never had to reload.
no, and but now I have mags for
Okay.
somebody else, because the rules don't say anything except that you personally can't have
Yeah.
more than 1,000 rounds.
Hmm.
But nothing says you can't use someone else's mags. So now I have 1,000 rounds on me. I'm
Yeah.
probably only going to use like 300 or 400 of them.
Yeah.
Now I have extra mags for somebody else on the field, be it during the game or in between if we don't have time to reload, whatever the case
Okay.
is.
Okay.
So I
So
kind of
what?
explore that part of it. That's the
Yeah.
point of it for me. But I also agree, me having that capacity is ridiculous.
Well,
but I
what is
don't
and
like green gas. So
yeah, I've heard that a lot actually. Yeah, a lot of people do not
it's
like,
just
it's
it's
inconsistent. I definitely know that from experience with the some of the guns we've tried out. But what does NSL use? What have they been using for what are their rules on guns and mags?
as far as I know. I mean, really, ultimately nothing. If it's not a pistol, I mean, obviously they're not going to ban the monk adapter from NSL. It you're banning your own product. That makes no sense.
What so explain
So
that. If I didn't know, if somebody doesn't know, and I've heard of Monk
so
Customs, but I don't know what you're talking about with
monk.
the Monk
Okay,
adapter.
so NSL and monk are
They
closely
work
aligned,
together.
mainly because
Yeah.
monk is the company that makes the guns, with the idea of NSL in mind,
Okay.
because they all have the same minds behind them. Bert
Hmm.
and um, S2N Junkie, like those guys that have been involved with NSL becoming what it is, also build around the sport with Monk in, what they're the HPA adapters for pistols or their rifle builds and all that kind of stuff. So like they're kind of, Nike and the NFL, or something like that sort of relationship.
Yeah.
Even though I'm most of the same people are involved in both in some facet, whatever. But
Sure.
um,
So
so
do they run HPA, green gas? What do
they
they
as far as the rules go, you cannot have more than 3 rifles on the field. Otherwise, there's really no
Oh,
um, magazines have to be 200 or less. So
oh,
those
okay.
EPM ones that everybody spent all that money on for 250 rounds, they can't use
Don't
now.
count. Yeah.
Um, I don't know how that's gonna get policed. I don't know how to, like. Are you just gonna have a list of brands and what BBs
Right.
they hold? Like, I don't. How do you do that?
Yeah, yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, HPA for pistols, whatever adapters, and no capacity limit, because you can have as many mags as you want. They just can't go over 200 rounds per mag.
Right.
Um, Anything that's not a pistol is a rifle. Shotguns are classified the same, whatever.
Okay.
So you can't have more than 3 of those on the field at a time.
Uh-huh.
But you could just the same play full 5 with pistols with M4. Excuse me, with M4 HPA adapters on them.
As long as they don't have more than 200 rounds. Okay.
Bingo.
Okay.
So I mean,
Well, at least it's
there's
consistent
nuances to
across the board.
everybody,
Yeah. Right, of course.
but
Yeah. It's consistent across the board, and that, that won't make or break. Well, it gives the teams some options,
right, right,
how, based on your play style. But it seems like that alone wouldn't inhibit a team or a team member from using their skill. Like, it's not going to hold them back. So if somebody's used to, what I mean is, if somebody's used to like that rule, if somebody's used to playing with a pistol with green gas mags, and they said, well, you're allowed to use this, and then they run, with a tapped one. I guess the only thing that if they're not used to would be the line, right? If it gets in their way. So if they're not used to, so that could probably be a variable that would slow
that
them down a
that
little,
for
you
sure,
know. But
because
if they're really fast with reloading, which some people are, uh, then it's not going to matter anyway. So they
right,
could just run their
it
gear that they're set up with.
ultimately all it comes down to me, like, is just because green gas is so wildly inconsistent,
Mm,
and I'm because it's our like HPA, I can cycle that pistol at less than 80 psi. Green gas generally is like 110 to 120. So
mm.
that's extra wear on the gun for no real reason, because you can only volume so much through the nozzle into the barrel. Like it
Well, that's why
doesn't
it starts
matter how much
spitting.
you're putting in there,
Yeah.
only so much is going to come out at a time.
Well, it gets cold, right? All this shit gets cold when you start
Yeah.
shooting that stuff,
And
and
that,
the seals start leaking, and yeah, okay,
it's just it's more of a hassle for me. Like, I
right,
will
right.
use it, but as far as competition, it's A, the consistency, but B, the um durability, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Well,
But like
you're
you're
a
saying, leaks or, even your temperature fluctuation with green gas can wildly change the way your gun shoots.
this thing with green gas, bro. When we first started getting these pistols, this is me not knowing shit about airsoft at all. When we first started, our YouTube channel, unboxing these things and taking them out and trying them out, and I'm going, it's fucking. When we started our channel, it was April. Okay, when we start doing shooting this shit, it's goddamn like 70 degrees out, and we, before we're halfway done with a mag, the thing starts doing acting weird. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Uh, oh, it's getting cold. I'm like, Jesus
Yep.
Christ, how the fuck? What do you got to do? I just don't understand why there's not a better option for that. With a single mag that you don't have to plug a line into, but as a propellant, you know what I mean? Because CO2 wears out way too fucking fast.
Yeah.
At least the little
Um,
12, whatever. What are those 12-ounce
yeah,
canisters or
little
something?
12 gram.
Or
Well,
12
yeah.
gram, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I CO2 is also probably not the best option. I
Well,
know I'm
you
sure
run
you
snake
probably used nitrous. What was that? A lot of people use them in paintball too.
for paintball.
C there was CO2 and then nit. I want to say it was nitrogen.
I never
Nitrogen
use that.
something.
Yeah,
But so like they're a little less volatile, a little more consistent.
right.
Can do the same things, a little lower pressure.
Uh
As
huh.
there's got to be a way. I mean, R134 could probably do the same. I mean, and Japan uses duster gas
Duster
basically
gas, yeah.
for
Uh huh.
most everything. Could just regular,
Yeah,
super low end compressed air. There's got to be
that's
something
it.
better that's not necessarily hooking you up to a tank, but also not be all over the place depending on temperature, humidity,
Yeah.
how full you got the mag, whether you purge the air out of the mag or not,
Oh,
whether
bro.
you sealed this correctly or not. If it, like,
With all these techno, all this advancement in airsoft guns, I really think green gas pistols are fucking archaic, man. Like they're super far behind as far as
but
the.
you could argue that's why it's more skillful to use green gas
Yeah, I
mag.
guess,
Like
but
that's where
the
I'm
gun
at. Like
should
I
work.
think it's
The gun should work properly through the whole magazine. Okay, if you're
that's what
shooting,
I'm saying.
guns, when you're shooting real steel, if you took a nine, if I take my 9 mil out and empty a mag, I got 14 rounds in this bitch, and I've got all the same ammo in there. The only variable of me not hitting that center mass target
Is
or
my
the center
aim
mass of the target should be me.
exactly?
It's
And
not
that tells me what it comes
if I'm
down to for
close enough where
me
the wind's not,
because
hurricane, whatever. But
right because
yeah,
with HPA you're gonna get the same PSI with every single shot. Well,
I gotcha.
generally, depend.
Really, really
Obviously, your
close.
rig is
Right.
going to change that, or
Okay.
how
Well,
well
that
you
makes
service
sense
it,
then.
this and that. But
That makes sense. And I agree with that 100%.
because
So I do.
like you get if you don't clean your rifle, eventually, yes, it's going to shoot like shit.
Well, that's on you, right? And that's on you as a player.
Right.
So let me ask you this: if you're, you said you played Snake, right?
Mm,
So if
I'm
you were out,
I do most of, so I'm the front guy a lot,
oh, the
but I
front guy.
also I'll do
I don't know
whatever.
these terms, bro. What
I'm
do you?
all over the place. I'll play the back anchor with a pistol. I'll move up front with the rifle. Like
Oh, okay.
I
So
I'll
just
just
wherever they
do
need you, you'll
whatever.
play.
Mm.
But if you're
And we're a
running,
super aggressive team, so back
you're always
player is kind of a
pushing.
loose term.
Okay. How many rounds do you go through in one single match?
Depends.
Like
So with
you,
NSL, that practice, what I learned was the layout is going to be much more angle based than lane based, if that makes sense.
no, explain it.
So with Speed QB, if you have your guy in the center home and your
Uh-huh.
guys on the outside, you have open space to lane. Just keep shooting so they can't come out. Same thing
Oh,
with
I gotcha.
paintball. So
Just like paintball. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
NSL, if the layout's similar to what it was at the practice, which by my understanding it should be probably the same layout, but the idea,
Mm-hmm.
it's way more crowded.
Ah,
So because within the rules, your scoring is how far you get with the flag, right?
Oh,
So
right, right.
you get a level of points for the 50, the 75, blah blah. So there'll be pretty clear cut lines of
Mm,
where the 50's at, where the 75, like the bunkers will should, I should say, be a little more like line battle versus just who can get there and put the most BBs down the lane first.
oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I think your angles are going to be way more important because you're going to have a lot less open space and more narrow
Mm,
windows to pull your
right.
shots.
Kick
So
in or whatever.
in that sort of situation, if I'm playing the front, while I might be the aggressor, especially when I'm playing with a pistol, I don't shoot that much. I could go a whole tournament with less than 500 rounds just
Okay.
because when I'm shooting, I know when and where I'm shooting. Like there's no
Right. You're not
laning.
laying down a ton of cover fire or
Right.
something. I
Now,
gotcha.
if that's my job, yes, that's what
Right.
I'll
Then you're
do.
gonna go through
But
more. Okay.
so I mean, it depends on the position I'm in and the layout and all that. But
Right.
generally speaking, like that 1,000 round limit that under Speed QB's rules, I never touch. I will
Okay.
load all four mags and end up using two,
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
but I always keep them on me because I know I'm not going to go through them, but somebody else is eventually going to need them.
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
Rowan, because if you've ever seen that guy's videos, he goes through some BBs.
I haven't seen him. I don't think I have. I'll have to. I want to get him on here actually, because I want to
You
talk with
know,
everybody on Hit Squad.
I thought about seeing if he wanted to link up and try to do art me and him together, but
Yeah.
I schedules are just so different. It's hard to
Oh,
do that.
gotcha. Yeah. Well, if there is a time we could do that, I'll tell you what would be fun. And I was thinking about this while you were talking earlier about the like style of gameplay and what moving and moving up on the obstacles and stuff is the or the barricades or what do you call them is having you on and maybe him on as well and do like a kind of a review the film kind of play,
Color
right?
commentary.
Yeah, where you're we I could share the screen of a like a tournament play or a game, right? Like that you guys have played, or another one that's good like that, and you could tell me, explain to me, like, oh, see this guy over here? Yeah, this is what we're trying to do over here. This is
Oh
what we're trying
yeah,
to, yeah,
yeah,
like
man. I
it's like when you watch
I'm a
film in
film
football,
guy, right? That's
yeah,
what I. That's all.
you
Matter of
study
fact,
film,
I have hours of footage from my GoPro on this computer.
right?
Never posted. I only have like the primary purpose of that video is for me to see what did I miss. One,
Gotcha.
two. Did I get hit and not call it? I'm always super paranoid about that. I
Yeah.
do not want that reputation at
Well, yeah.
all. Of like
Most people I talk with don't. Yeah.
everybody makes mistakes. I get, especially breakouts
Sure.
and this and that. You just sometimes you just can't feel it. Cool.
Yeah.
Shoot me up some more.
Yeah.
If I take a weird angle and I take a shot, but it's only one, I won't even move. I won't even raise my gun. I'll just wait. If you can hit me again, now I know you definitely hit me. It wasn't
Right.
ricochet or some
Right.
nonsense. Cool. Whatever. Like that's all that matters to me is that you understand as my opponent that
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cheat you because I want. If I didn't call it, please absolutely come directly to me and say something immediately. I need to know
Mm-hmm.
that because I can't fix it if I don't know. Right. So
Sure.
I I like that idea. I really
Okay.
do because
Okay.
especially for perspective of somebody that hasn't played and doesn't know
Right.
as well as because
No,
I'm
I don't know
sure that
shit.
like the Milsim side of it, you probably know more about it than I do because I never really got into that. I just went outside and shot people. Like that we didn't. There was
Yeah,
no
it's
structure. I've never like I'd get videos of Milsim West or Ballot Hack stuff like that, but
right.
I've never really been involved with that, so I don't have any idea of what it's like to actually do that.
Well,
So
I love
I'm
I love
into
learning
that.
this stuff anyway, and I love and it sounds like while I'm talking with you that because you're kind of like self-reflective. and you want to do better. So you'll go, so, it sounds like you've already watched some of your stuff to learn, And so
100%.
I would love to talk with somebody like that, like yourself, where we could just pull up some of your GoPro footage. Okay, why'd you do this? Or, explain this. And more of a teaching thing, if somebody doesn't know, like maybe a younger player that's, maybe where you were a few years ago, where like, I played some outdoor. I don't know what else, I'm trying to think about maybe indoor, or, the CQB stuff or speedsoft. And, but I'm not sure. Okay, maybe I'll do it. And then, well, what do I do? Like, I've heard these terms. What do I, kind of walk somebody through? All right, this is called this, a call out, are there general call outs for, like, or is it team specific? Do you have
I,
your own, does each team have their own names for certain places on the field, and,
I mean,
or is that just like a
yeah,
common?
yes and no. I mean, you have your Snake 1, 50, 100, or 1, 2, and 3, or whatever. Like
Yeah,
Castle. We don't really use like the Chicago and Philly. We don't have as many bunkers as paintball does, so we don't use
gotcha.
a lot of the same stuff that they do. But
Oh,
we'll
okay.
still kind of play into that. Um,
I think
I
I
mean
was
that.
talking with Akimbo, and he said, yeah, we call it plexi because there was like this. Is it shot zone? I don't
Yeah.
know. Or I don't know.
Well, I mean,
There was
there's several fields, but there will be a plexi wall in
right. Okay.
some form or fashion on the
Yeah,
field.
yeah. Okay.
Um,
So yeah, like going through
Plexi or window. I mean,
yeah, terminology that wouldn't give away, your team specific tactics that you want to, that you don't want someone else to know or use. But um, I mean, if there's no secret play that you guys are running, uh, you
secret
know,
is y'all better be ready. That's all. That's the secret. It's like
right?
the
Yeah,
the
I'd love to do
level
that.
of aggression that we play with while also playing smart. It that more often than not is what throws people off because they're not a lot. If you watch Speed QB a lot, not to say everyone, but a lot. The idea is you break to your bunker and that's where you go.
Yeah, and you wait.
I don't have time for that. I'm like that's pretty much what it comes down to. Like I make my
Yeah,
break to my bunker. By the time I get to that bunker, I already know what my next move is.
yeah,
So I'm already hitting that bunker. As soon as I know my lane's open on my outside or inside or wherever I'm at, I'm already moving up. Like and then once I'm up, well now my anchor is going to bump up to stay behind me. He's always
yeah.
going to be two bunkers behind where I'm at. So I have somewhere to fall back if I have to,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not good at that either. I'll stay in my pocket and I'll wait.
Fuck retreating. Okay.
Exactly. It's either we're gonna trade or I'm gonna get you. That's it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get me to push backwards just to get shot in the back for no reason. It's not gonna
Right.
happen.
No shit. Right.
Um,
Well,
but
yeah, man.
strategy overall is you know the general would be like back left home, which is the furthest back in the center, back
Yeah.
right, and then you kind of go from there of like more or less just describing the bunker. It's weird translation to go from like Nashville to Shot Zone because Nashville's so much smaller, wooden bunkers, different styles of bunkers, and then Shot Zone has paintball inflatables. So now I'm going back into that brain of like, what
Yeah.
did we call them for that? But it's not the same thing here because that's a Chicago bunker, but it's not in the same place I'm used to it. So it's,
Right.
but we have our own thing individually to even simplify it more than that. But
Yeah.
anybody can jump on the field, and if you say back left, they know to look at the farthest left corner. So I mean, snake is usually most obvious. It depends on the layout, of course, but
Right.
with the wooden bunkers, it's less confusing. Ethan just throws everybody for a loop every weekend because that's what he does. And but
Yeah.
with
I hear
with the
you.
wooden bunkers, like you're generally going to see all the same stuff you would in paintball. Your core bunkers, as far as your castle, snake, all that. It's just going to be at a much smaller scale with less
Mm,
coverage. So you're not going to
gotcha.
have as much room to move.
Hmm.
Much tighter lanes to move in between and get to, it's less open space between the bunkers, but bunkers also give you less cover. So it's a trade off. You got less time to get there before they get there, but there's not that much ground to cover. So you could like it's
Well, it'd
hard
definitely
to
be a
understand the nuances of playing in the game without just being out there.
right,
So, like you were that idea, actually, I think is a very good idea because that would make people understand. Like, if you asked me what's the best advice you could give me as a snake player, I wouldn't know what the hell to say.
right,
But if we were looking at it, I said, well, if you're in
exactly.
this situation,
Watch some film and
watch
go, oh,
this
why'd
and
you do
do
this?
right.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good idea,
Uh-huh.
especially for new people that aren't savvy to that style of play. Because you
For
can play
real.
CQB, but then in a tournament play is still going to be a little different because that's
Right.
more pocket shooting. That's not get to the corner and peek out and run around the other side of the building, go through the room and all. You don't have that. You have
Right.
about like once you get to your bunker, more often than not, until you get a couple people out, you've got like 6 inches to work with. You got this corner and then this corner right above it, and if you peek
Hmm.
out anything more than your barrel and your wrist, you're done.
Yeah.
So you just have to be precise, and there's no way to teach the like snapshot. Cujo's a master at that one ball snapshot, and I've played with, against, and just watched all of his for
Okay.
hours and hours.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that kid, and he's
Yeah.
ridiculously good. I can't. You know how long I've played Call of Duty and been worked by those kids that can do that stupid
Oh,
360 snapshot, don't even know scope
yes.
it, whatever.
Yep.
So, where like the scope kind of pulls up and it's just a quick scope.
Yeah, the quick scope.
I've been playing Call of Duty for longer than most of these kids have been alive, and I still can't do it. I can't. I can't.
Uh-uh.
It's just
I can't
something.
do it
Some
either.
stuff you
No.
just have to get in there and figure out your way of doing it, or figure out that you're just not there for that, or not capable. Is I want to say that because everybody's capable of doing anything in speedsoft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm Puma, the bigger dude, covers mad ground. I'm a tall, lanky guy. I can get in weird corners and angles that you'll never figure out where I'm at. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me to hide 6 foot tall and orangutan arms and my crazy legs, but I can get in a small enough spot you won't know I'm there until you pass me.
Yeah.
Like everybody's capable of doing stuff they don't think they are at any given time, but especially in speedsoft, I don't believe that anybody can't do something. But there's some stuff you learn that you're better at doing either not doing it or doing it differently than the way most people do.
Right.
So it's good to learn that by watching someone else do it, and
Hmm.
then go, yeah, but I don't know if I can't keep that position, or like because I'm sure you've seen videos of the way people like lean a corner, or trying to out a window or something
Yeah.
like that. You're like, your body's not supposed to move like that, bro. You're gonna pay for that later. Like,
I know, right? Now, who's the team? If you could pick one team you're excited about playing against in the NSL tournaments, who is the team you're excited about playing against, or who do you want to beat? Who's the team to beat for you guys
the team to beat for me, HSA. It's hard to say. With Scotto and those guys, because we do have some guys on the West Coast with
on the
with
West
those
Coast? Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
They have a different opinion, whatever.
yeah. You
For me
personally, who?
personally, it's Murder Inc. That's
Okay,
my like. I'm not
gotcha.
really excited to play him, but like Ric Flair
Because
says,
they're good.
to be the best, you got to beat the best, and
There you
that
go.
like
That's right, and that takes some work, or else they wouldn't be the best. You
if
know.
they're the ones that make me nervous, they're the ones I need to beat.
There you go.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
So Steve from PBZ, I've done his podcast a couple times too.
Okay.
We've played against each other. We had this maybe unspoken, I don't really know, like love hate relationship. Those guys, PBZ is like the bane of my existence when I first started playing up here because
Yeah.
they were already the team put together. They were organized, the whole thing. That was kind of like the watermark, more or less, of well, in order to compete, I need to at least be able to do what they're doing. And if I
Yeah.
can't do that, then I'm not really getting anywhere. So yeah, several times we fall just short to them. The first, second place we lost to them, and then this last one we took second place by beating them. One of the videos where it is in NSL too, where like the bonus point 101 at the end, they kind of played into that at
Hmm.
that Ruby's Pit Fighter tournament where well we're tied at the end of the rounds, so we'll go 1-on-1. If you trade, move to the next person. Nobody can play more than once, whatever. First two come out, they trade. Next two come out, Rowan, and then one of the other guys from PVZ, Mini Melon, end up trading. Well, they called it a trade. Technically, nobody shot the other one. They tried to bunker each other at the same time and just barrel to barrel hit each other.
Oh
And
shit.
nobody actually got shot. They were just like, "Nah, we're just gonna call that off." It
Gotcha.
was actually very very funny. And
Yeah.
then, so then I go out. Okay, well this is the last one. There, third try, 1-on-1. Whoever wins is the winner. If there's a draw, well then it's just a draw. So well now I'm in my head already. Like the pressure. I want to like the more pressure you put on me, the worse it is for you. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have that brain, but then in competition
You
when it
don't.
happens, it's
Right. You don't mind being
uh
in conflict or
like the
confronted.
late
Yeah.
great Kobe said, that's that Mamba mentality. It's completely different when I'm on the field.
Hmm.
So I know this is what's going on. The way it plays out, probably even from my own GoPro perspective, it looks a little hateful is not the word I would use, but um it was a little rough, let's say that. But I was not backing down. You gave me a window, and that predator mindset is what happened.
Hmm.
He peeked and dry fired, and I knew that. So whatever, I don't care why you dry fired. I know
Right.
you dry fired. So now you're done. So I rush him. I'll get through the whole thing, and you can hear Steve in the observation, upper level that you can watch down from. That seemed a little personal. I mean, technically, yes, it was. If
Sure.
you like, it's no news that you have beat me several times in a tournament. So yes, it's kind of personal, but it like Batman can't exist without the Joker. Joker can't exist without Batman. Well,
Exactly.
they're the
Yeah.
ones that kind of started my like I've got to get better because they
Uh-huh.
keep beating me, and now I beat them. And it
Yeah.
like that's all it came down to. Like I have an opportunity to beat the team that keeps beating me, and it's on me and me alone. Nobody
Yeah.
else is involved. It's just me and one guy. So
Right.
yes, it was a little personal, but that's also the level of competition that we're at and
That's
we
what makes
should
it
be at
fun.
to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
because immediately afterward, and everything's said and done, we're outside vaping, kicking it, just bullshitting about NSL and the whole and this and that, whatever. Everything's cool. We
That's how
all
it should be.
almost 40 of us went out to eat together
Yeah.
that night.
That's
Like,
called sportsmanship, man. That's you
but
can
not everybody
be
has that,
really, really mad
unfortunately.
at each other on the field in the heat of the moment in competition, and then when you're done, you shake hands. Okay,
Yeah,
like that is okay on the field in the heat of the moment. Fuck you, yelling, just running and gunning as hard as you can, and then when we're done, hey, we're good. Okay, there's a level of respect there, and that should be honored. You shouldn't be, people shouldn't be made or felt like they have to be toned down, or you need to tone it down, kind of, like not go as hard or not be as aggressive. Like if you're within the rules, bro, go as hard as you fucking want, and that's how your enemy should be on the field. Other teams should be on the field, and then when you're done, you built that level of
That
respect, and now you're good. Okay.
and that's why we lost our minds over that whole thing with Cujo about the losing points in Tampa for the headshots and all of
Uh
that.
huh.
I know you talked to most everybody about it at this point, but and not to
Bro,
bring up
that
old
was
news,
fucked up.
that was why, because we know that that's within the rule set, and I
That should never ever happen. When it's a game that matters for points going towards something or whatever, that should never matter, or that should never happen. All the refs on the field they have to be proficient at their job on the field. They have to know the rules and know how to enforce them, and have a level head when it comes to somebody bitching
uh
about something. Okay.
and from my perspective, even being that much different because I play and I ref
Right.
enough and at a big enough level that I've refed these same people that are getting in trouble for, I can't tell you how many times I've refed Cujo. I played against Cujo. If he did the same thing to me, I've done it to other people. Like there's a mutual understanding that, the whole sign your waiver argument, whatever, is one thing, but within the competition, there's an understanding of if you get the drop on me and you've got a clear headshot and you take it, do I want you to stick your barrel underneath my die? And no. But if you've got an open shot and you can hit, the little ring on the back of my strap or the side of my mask, whatever, I'm not gonna say it. Will I be shitty if you come up and 4-5 in the back of my ear? Yes, but if you're coming around a bunker, two go over the top of my head, one hits
Mm-hmm.
me in the head, one hits me in the shoulder. What is there to complain about? It's not even that bad. Like
No.
it,
No.
and that's why even Roy has mentioned it a couple times in tournaments since then of not dealing with that BBs don't care about your feelings. Sorry, I don't. That's what it comes down to.
If you don't want, if you're sensitive on the back of your head, then cover it. Okay. Put something on
I
that covers it. That's
it's
it.
a
Uh,
beanie. They make headbands, all kind.
there's all kind of options. This is completely within the rules, and there's no easy way to take that rule out. They can't say you can't shoot somebody in the head in this kind of play. It's not
Now
gonna
NSL does actually have an
no
unsportsmanlike
headshot.
for no. Well, that situation, if you
Oh,
come up behind somebody and you shoot them in the head, you're gonna get put in the penalty box.
even in that situation where like speed like in the spur of the moment like that, that's
From the way
fucked
I
up.
understood it, they are pretty diligent about not letting people take unnecessary up close shots to the head, which I am not disagreeing that that's a
Yeah,
good idea. However, it's hard to
I
police
don't
that
like it.
within yourself in the
I
moment.
don't like it.
That's the thing. It's not
I don't like it.
when I come
I
around a corner and I see that I have your back. I'm not even thinking about it. First of all, if you have time to get around the corner to pull up on their head as opposed to their back, then that's egregious. That's obvious. So I get it with a penalty for that because you're just doing that to be
but
the
if
guy
you
or
okay,
whatever.
so let me ask you this: if you come up behind them and you shoot them anywhere else on the body, is that a penalty?
No,
Okay,
anywhere else is totally fine. But if it's a situation of like
so why is the
the
back of the
post up,
head?
like
Because it hurts more.
Sicario, I get, I don't know. I
Why
guess
why
it's
is there a rule like that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If everywhere else on your body is, because if you're wearing, I mean, are there uniform requirements? Do you have to wear something that would protect your lower back? Because your lower back is very sensitive as well. If I was wearing like a tight t-shirt and I get tagged in the lower back at, point blank or pretty close, that's going to fucking hurt too. probably just as
Yeah,
much or almost
yeah.
as much as the back of my head. So what is this rule
Kidney
based
shots
on?
being punched or shot with a BB do not
Yeah,
feel
what
good.
is,
Like
I don't understand. Is the rule based on because the back of the head is sensitive? Like you're not going to get injured,
I,
or else there
that's
would
what I'm
be a
saying.
requirement.
I don't know
I
it.
don't know, man. I don't like it.
Part of me does in that there's a lot of drama that's involved with people doing those things. Of like
Well, then
less in
don't
the
get snuck
tournament.
up on.
Well, right. Not
I mean,
less in the tournament situation, more of like the regular open play CQB type of situation.
yeah,
Like the kids that just want
because
to
it's
run in
based
the
on your
field and run
skill.
up on the spawn and spray all the little kids in full
That's
auto, like
different.
those
But
kids.
in a high
But
level
I get
tournament game
exactly.
where
There's no reason that
where
should
there's
even
equal
your
players
level
on
of
each,
professionalism in that tournament should already
yes,
dictate that you're not going to do somebody
that won't happen to
ridiculous.
you. Okay, and if it does happen to you, then you take the consequence. There has to be pain in losing uh, in life, or else you will not learn. We only learn from pain. This is how we're built. Okay, this is the universe, bro.
The bull boy theory. If you hide them from everything, they're more likely to be damaged by everything.
Yeah,
It,
right. It
I
just
just
doesn't work
don't,
that way.
I
You
don't know.
got to get,
I
there's a
get it from
reason
a
when you work with your hands, you get calluses. Your body goes, oh, I need more skin there so it doesn't fucking bleed the next time. No
exactly,
shit. Okay, so if
exactly.
you don't want the back of your head shot because you're too lazy to practice and be proficient at keeping aware of your surroundings and you let somebody get behind you and shoot you in the back of the head, then cover it. There's all kind of options. There's no
The
rules against putting something on the back of your head.
the only thing that changes that, which
Yeah.
like most things, is the human ego. Somebody's always mad because they got snuck up on. And
Your
then
own
there's
fault, bro.
also the guy that also will, if he can sneak up on somebody, will
Yeah.
shoot him 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the back. And I've seen dudes that like they'll come up from under the corner and go up underneath the die.
Ooh.
That's dangerous. You can put
Ooh.
somebody's eye out like that.
Oh,
That's
that's
the kind
weird.
of stuff that needs to be cut out. But you won't see that in high level competition. So what the hell is the point
Okay.
of the
Okay.
rule? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
the player's professionalism should dictate that things like that don't happen in competition.
The rules are set when you have high level of skill. The higher you go up, right? Like Olympics. Okay. There's stricter rules in Olympic games than in regular whatever swim events or whatever they are, whatever.
Right.
Like there's very, very, very specific rules. The more, the higher level skill you go up, or the higher the stakes, the more specific the rules are. Now, if they, you know, maybe they want to change that rule, but I don't think, I think it's bullshit. I think if your body, anywhere in your body can be shot and that's counts,
Yeah,
then it's
I
not,
personally don't think there should be a rule in
yeah,
any form or
no,
fashion about where you can shoot somebody.
no. You want to
That
lose, if you want to lower the
it,
FPS or something,
it
whatever, but
if I can have a GoPro on my head where I'm not gonna feel that and get shot and be considered
mm,
out, why is it not equally as
that's
okay to
true.
shoot you anywhere I want in your body? If I
Yeah.
can be called out from the end of my gun getting hit that I can't
Hmm.
see or feel, but I can't shoot you in the back when that's all I have to shoot at, like I don't think
Yeah.
it should matter. I don't think
It's,
if it's connected to your body and you get hit, it's fair. I
yep.
don't care where, what angle, it doesn't matter. If you're that mad about it, don't get snuck up on. Now, there is a level of sportsmanship, or
Yeah,
of
I
not.
get it.
Don't be a
But I
dick.
mean,
Don't
honestly,
overshoot people, or
really
whatever.
make that
But
argument for anything. So if you
right,
said,
right,
somebody goes out, let's say a team or a couple people, they go out, they don't like wearing gloves because it inhibits their movement of their fingers. So their hands, their knuckles get blasted. Okay, and then they're little bitches, and they go, they're purposely shooting my trigger hand and
yeah,
knocking up my knuckles. Okay, like
you're
you should
100%
make a
right. I
rule
am.
to not shoot my hands and everyone's gonna go, you're fucking dumb, wear gloves. That's exactly how I feel about the back of the head thing.
And same thing,
Case in point,
same
I
thing with the
just, I don't.
GoPro thing. It's
Yeah.
you can
Right.
get shot in the GoPro and not know it, but they
Yeah.
can call you out and give you a penalty for that because it's disregarded shot to the head, it's usually
Mm,
higher than if it's like your backpack or what. But all the same, it's if that can generate the same thing, then why does it matter where because that's an advantage that you're going to take for yourself, knowing that I have a GoPro,
yeah.
that you could cost me points, not just get me out, but cost me points
Mm,
because you hit my GoPro and I didn't know it.
gotcha.
Like, yes, there's an advantage to be taken of the rules. There's always loopholes in the whole thing.
Sure.
But
Sure.
if in general you're just not being a dickhead, that's
Yeah.
it.
It's
That's all
fine.
there. Like, don't dump your mag in my back when if you snuck up on me. But if you got me, you got me. It
Yeah.
run it back. See if you can do it again. I
Yep.
promise you won't. Like
Yeah. I agree.
I
I
just
agree.
don't. I don't know. I
Well,
a lot
what
of people say a lot of sports are soft, but I just there's
what are
no
you
room
looking
for that
for?
in
What are you
airsoft.
looking forward to in 2023? What's your what is something you're most excited about for airsoft?
Um, well, we got the NSL tournament in
Yeah.
January at Shot Zone. We're locked. We're already locked in for 2 squads for that. Um, trying to make EA Fest this year. I don't know if it's going to work out just because of timing
Yeah.
and when my wife and I go on vacation for our anniversary and everything.
Oh, okay. How long you
So
guys been
I don't
married?
know. Halloween of 2020.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
So just
yeah.
hit 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, so my number's 31. My anniversary is the 31st. So like
Oh shit. Is that your favorite holiday, you guys? Halloween?
we met working in a haunted house.
Oh
Like, that's
shit, no
yeah.
way.
I proposed to her in the scene that we started working together.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's all like I have a whole bathroom that's Nightmare Before Christmas. I have a whole tattoo, like
Oh,
everything
that's cool.
about this house and our lives in it has something to do with Halloween, pumpkins, skulls, something.
Okay. Oh, that's cool as hell, man. Now, you know Spooky, right? Spooky
Hmm.
Airsoft? Yeah, yeah. That's her favorite as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have her patch around here somewhere actually.
Oh, good.
I
Yeah.
just got it not too long ago.
There's so many people I've met, bro, that Halloween's their favorite. Their favorite. Big
Yeah,
time.
that
Okay.
it. So I worked at a haunted house for like 10 years. Like we
Nice.
worked there together for a while, and then I was on my own for a little bit as an actor, and then I ended up being the manager later on.
Okay.
And I I that's kind of where I learned the like separation of personas sort of thing.
Mm,
So like on the field and off the field, playing basketball or football, it kind of came from there. But like
right.
when you go to a haunted house and you have black all over your face and you put on a gas mask and pull it so tight that it gives you a headache and you're carrying around a 65-pound length of toe chain and slamming it on the walls to terrorize people,
Yeah,
like
dude.
eventually you just kind of become this other character and there's nothing you can really do about it. So now like when I take it off, I'm not that guy, but I know how I can put myself right back in it.
Yeah.
And I've kind of translated that into airsoft. Like when my die's on, you might as well not talk to me, bro. You're not gonna get
You're in
anything out
game
of
mode,
me,
bro. Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, it's not gonna
That's
go the
how
way
I
you
was.
think it is.
I was the same way with football. Yeah, in high school, I was pretty quiet. I was more of a I was a better listener to people, my friends and stuff than talker. So, but when I put the helmet on and got on the field, bro, I was like a fucking crazy person, yelling out. I was the defensive. I was captain of the defense, so I'm yelling, call outs and shit and whatever. But yeah, totally different person. I remember the first game my mom went to, and I came out the field, and she was like, "What were you doing out there?" I was like, "I don't know what
I don't
happens. I
know.
get the
Was
helmet on, man.
feeling it. I was
I'm
just feeling it.
in that zone. Yeah, that's cool, man." Well, listen, bro, it's been awesome talking with you. I want to get you on here again. Maybe you and
Oh, for
your
sure.
cousin and go and honestly watch some film and go over some of the strategy stuff for
I'd be down with
indoor
that.
play. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be
I
really
think it's
educational for
I think it's a
me.
cool idea.
And
I mean, for you, but even for in general, like
right,
it
for
would
other
benefit
people that
you
can see
to
it,
understand it more from the player side,
right.
so that you can have the conversation easier with other people
Especially
too.
some of these guys that have been playing for a while, but all they've done are like 3 day mil sims, right? Just camping and war, all the gear and all the stuff. But they've kind of thought about playing indoor and speedsoft or whatever, but they don't know how to transition. They don't know how to. I don't know anything about it. They could watch something like
Take
that and
off
go,
half
you
your
know,
shit and don't sweat as much.
right?
You don't have to carry as much. You get to sit down pretty often,
Yeah.
surprisingly enough.
And
You
guess
don't
what?
have
The
to.
spawn is fucking 50 feet over here or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
it's
man.
close. It ain't a
And you don't
mile.
even have to walk to the respawn. You can just go sit down and wait for the next game if you, depending
Oh,
on
that's
what
awesome.
situation.
Well, I
Too much.
appreciate you, man. Well, tell everybody where they can find you online.
Um, Instagram mostly. I do have a YouTube channel. I've got a couple of videos up, but I gotta say that most of that GoPro footage just becomes film for me and
Right.
for the team more than anything.
What's your
So
Instagram? Is it HSA Prudie?
HSA Prudie 31. So
That's it.
HSA.Prudie.31. I'm sure
Okay.
you'll link it anyway.
I will.
It's I understand it's weird. I'm a super nerd and I use Star Wars made up language. Like Scotto said, all language is made up, so it's okay. But
Yeah, it is. I know. It's like when people get afraid or get offended by the word fuck or something. It's like, bro, it's the same as saying truck or
I yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We just apply these meanings to it. It's okay. It's okay. Well, listen, man, it's been great talking with you. It's been fun. Have fun on overtime tonight on a Friday night.
I mean, when you're making $30 something an hour, it's hard to
Right?
be mad at it all. But
That's true.
also, I'd rather be at home on a Friday. So
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I hear you, bro.
I just
Well, I
don't like
appreciate it,
working
man.
more than I absolutely have to. I signed a
Yeah.
contract for these hours. You throw that contract in my face, so hold up your end. Stop making me work more than I need to. My time is more valuable than whatever your paycheck you're writing. Sorry.
Shit, right. I hear you, brother. Well, you have a good night, man. I appreciate it.
Have a good one, man.